Chapter 75. Make a scene in the Sky Cloud Sect? Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that this was just an excuse from the other party. The purpose was to prevent him from finding trouble with Yi Hao. Master 2, do you mean you want to intervene in this matter? Longao, when the Nebula Royal family and the Level 5 Long family came together, I gave them face. But now, the Level 5 Long family has withdrawn. Even if you are the Imperial Protector of the Nebula Royal family, making a scene in the Sky Cloud Sect is a capital offense. The Level 5 Long family had withdrawn? Longao was not surprised at all. But Longao was still a little confused. Did the Sky Cloud Sect really think that he was a match for the Nebula Royal family? Longao, although the 1-year agreement between you and me is not up yet, you have openly humiliated me today. This is unbearable. Then what do you want? 1-year agreement. Today you and I will fight to the death. Life and death are predestined. On this trip to the Sky Cloud Sect, Longao had already made up his mind. Regardless of whether Yi Hao was the culprit or not, this matter had to be resolved once and for all. It was precisely because of this that Longao nodded and said, "Okay." Tu Lei waved his hand and said, "Pass down the order. No one is allowed to go down the mountain." "Yes, Master." Longao, the Sky Cloud Sect will not intervene in the grievances between you and Elder Yi. But this time, you have caused a scene in the Sky Cloud Sect. I will not let it go. Even if this matter is brought to the Nebula Royal family, the Sky Cloud Sect will not be afraid. Longao did not have any excuses because he knew in his heart that if the Sky Cloud Sect wanted to deal with him, he would not be able to do anything. No matter what, this time he had indeed taken the initiative to come to the Sky Cloud Sect. Even if the Nebula Royal family intervened, they might not be able to do anything. Yi Hao and Longao stared at each other. Both of them were emitting a strong battle intent, colliding with each other. "Sure!" Longao and Yi Hao released their respective forces at the same time. Although there were differences, the fact that a one-line sky expert could release their own forces still deeply shocked Tu Lei and the others. It was precisely because of this that Tu Lei's eyes became colder, and his body was filled with a murderous aura. At this time, Yi Hao and Longao moved at the same time. Before they arrived, the saber light arrived first. Longao knew that with his strength, it would not be easy to defeat his opponent, so he had to end this battle quickly. The suppression of power. Yi Hao had great confidence in himself. In fact, Yi Hao was pleasantly surprised. After all, the other party's talent and potential were there for all to see. Who knew how much the other party would grow in a year's time? Since the other party had taken the initiative to come knocking on his door today, it was a good opportunity to deal with the other party. In the blink of an eye, the two of them were already engaged in a fierce battle, exchanging blows back and forth. In an instant, they had fought for more than 10 rounds, and thus, there was no clear victor. Soul-subduing seal, coupled with the first 2 moves of the 8 styles of blood drinking, the yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes, and the heart seal, Longao's blood drinking, saber had already fiercely slashed down. The saber light instantly cut through the sky and slashed towards Yi Hao. At the beginning, Yi Hao was indeed full of confidence that he could kill the other party in the shortest time, but as the battle continued to escalate, the shock in Yi Hao's heart became more and more intense. Because he never thought that the other party's strength would be so strong. Soul-subduing seal. Like a death knell, Yi Hao's heart was fiercely knocked. Yi Hao was taken aback because he never thought that the other party's martial skill would be so terrifying. He did not have the slightest bit of carelessness. He immediately circulated the spiritual power in his body and gathered it in his soul to resist the terrifying corrosive force. Seeing the reversal of the battle, Tu Lei and the others were also taken aback. "Master, this child must not be left alive." Nodding his head, Tu Lei certainly understood the meaning of the elder behind him. Longao was now only in the one-line sky, but he was able to force the evolver into such a difficult situation. If this person's cultivation broke through the evolver realm, wouldn't he be able to instantly kill Elder Yi Hao? Just thinking about it was terrifying. Not to mention, the matter had already escalated to this point. Once the other party grew up, he would be a great threat to the Sky Cloud sect. Master, if we kill this child, will the Star Cloud royal family not be happy? Waving his hand, Tule said. The 5th grade Long family has already informed me. If this child dares to come and cause trouble, I will kill him without mercy. As for the Star Cloud royal family, the 5th grade Long family will block them. Master, is there something fishy about this matter? One should know that before this, the Star Cloud royal family and the 5th grade Long family jointly wanted to protect Longao. But now, the 5th grade Long family backed out halfway. Anyone would be a little puzzled. They did not know what the 5th grade Long family and the Star Cloud royal family were up to. Kill. If it was before, Tule might be afraid of the Star Cloud royal family and would not deal with Longao. But since seeing Longao's talent and strength, Tule had already decided that even if he had to provoke the Star Cloud royal family and the National Guard Hall, he would kill Longao to completely solve the problem for the Sky Cloud sect. The soul-suppressing seal suppressed Yihao. Longao's heart was suddenly filled with joy. He did not let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The blood-sucking blade in his hand instantly slashed out. At this moment, Yihao's strength was already enough to kill evolvers, as long as he did not meet a peak evolver. Just as the wild devouring saber chopped down, the 4 great elders, who had not moved all this while, all moved. The 4 elders were all evolver experts. With 5 evolver experts joining forces, Longao's face instantly turned ugly. Although he had full confidence that he could defeat Yihao, it did not mean that he could defeat 5 evolver experts at the same time. Longao never thought that the Sky Cloud sect would make a move against him. Even if his heart was filled with anger, the blood-sucking blade in his hand still slashed out fiercely. 5 against 1. It had to be said that Longao's strength was indeed very strong. His hands were constantly forming seals, and the soul-suppressing seal rolled out. He also continuously used the first style of blood-sucking, Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, and the second style, Frozen Heart Devouring. Longao, you must die today! Seeing that Longao was able to withstand the 5 of them in a short time, Tule secretly decided that no matter what happened, no matter if the Star Cloud royal family would vent their anger on the Sky Cloud sect, he must kill the other party today. If you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Stop! Hearing Tule's roar, everyone stopped. The 5 of them were all shocked and looked at the young man dumbfoundedly. Until now, the 5 of them could not figure out how the young man was so strong. If they did not experience it personally, they would not be willing to believe it even if they were beaten to death. Tule, why did the Sky Cloud sect intervene in the battle between Yihao and me? Longao's face was also a little gloomy. The Sky Cloud sect was now openly helping Yihao, which basically made their intentions clear. It seemed that the Sky Cloud sect wanted to deal with him. Chapter 76. Longao, I have already said that the Sky Cloud Martial School will not get involved in the grudge between you and Master Yi. But now that you have made such a scene, I have to get involved. Shameless. Longao knew what Tule and the Sky Cloud Martial School meant. After all, the Sky Cloud Martial School wanted to protect Yihao so that they could deal with him. With a sneer, Tule said coldly, Longao, I will give you a chance. Kill yourself here. Kill himself here? Hearing Tule's words, Longao felt like he had heard the funniest thing in the world. He asked, Tule, is there something wrong with your head? How dare you! How dare you! Longao did not give anyone a chance to speak. At this moment, he was extremely angry. The Sky Cloud Martial School did not keep their words. They said that they would not get involved, but they attacked him. Just this point alone was enough to show how shameless the Sky Cloud Martial School was. People like you are really a waste of air when you are alive, and a waste of land when you are dead. Let me give you a piece of advice. You might as well just die. How could Tule and the others stand being insulted in public like this? Longao, you are looking for death. I am looking for death? Since you are so shameless, I will give you a couplet. Listen carefully. The first line, a tree without its bark will die. The second line, a shameless person is invincible. The horizontal line, a shameless person is invincible. F***ck off. Longao was too lazy to continue. He knew that there was only one way to deal with such shameless people, and that was to attack directly. However, Longao left quickly and came back even faster. His face was extremely gloomy. Looking at Lu Mu and Lu Ji who suddenly appeared, especially Yu Yin who was caught by Lu Mu, Longao immediately understood what had happened. He asked gloomily, Lu Mu, what do you mean by this? Ha ha, Longao, can't you see that things have come to this? Lu Ji, is it you? Lu Ji's face was full of coldness. She said, Longao, I want you to know the consequences of messing with me. Aren't you trying to be ruthless? I would like to see how you are going to be ruthless today. Clenching his fists, Longao suddenly said gently, Yu Yin, I am sorry. At this moment, Wan Yuyin had a deep sense of helplessness. She didn't say anything. A teardrop flowed out from the corner of her eyes. It completely pierced Longao's heart. It was all his carelessness that caused Wan Yuyin to be held hostage. Brother Dragon, Tu Lei is my cousin. I had no choice but to do this. I hope you don't mind. Don't mind? Longao had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen such shameless people. Tu Lei and Lu Mu were really shameless to the extreme. Now he finally knew who did it. In the end, it was a show directed by Tu Lei, Lu Mu, and Yi Hao. A bunch of shameless bastards who lacked calcium when they were young, who lacked love when they grew up. Their grandmothers didn't love them, and their uncles didn't love them. Today, I will slaughter the entire Sky Cloud Martial School. Before Longao could finish his words, everyone burst into unrestrained laughter. In their eyes, no one believed that the young man in front of them could slaughter the Sky Cloud sect. Not to mention the others, just the master of the Sky Cloud sect, Tu Lei, was a fusion warrior who was above the evolution realm. Could Longao kill Tu Lei? Longao, Yu Yin is in my hands. You better compromise. I can promise you that you will not die. Lu Mu, you better shut up. Even if I can't kill you today, I will definitely kill you in the future. Lu Mu, who originally felt a little guilty, seemed to know that things were already set in stone and could not be changed. His face turned cold. At this moment, a dagger suddenly appeared in Lu Ji's hand. She placed it on Wan Yuyin's neck and said coldly, Kneel down before me, or I'll kill Yuyin with one strike. He looked deeply at Lu Ji and Yuyin. At that moment, Longao's face became calm. There was no anger, no killing intent. There was only gentleness and a faint smile. Longao, listen to me. If you dare to kneel, I will bite my tongue and kill myself. Yuyin, are you afraid of death? No, as long as I can be with you, even if I die, I will have no regrets. At this moment, Wan Yuyin's face was filled with determination. She suddenly laughed and said with an incomparably firm voice, Unforgettable grudges, unforgettable grudges, unforgettable you. Only for love, only for you. Even if I go to the underworld, I will still have a dream. If you do not abandon me, I will be with you in life and death. If you do not abandon me, I will be with you in life and death. Hearing those words, Longao faced the sky and madly laughed. Within his laughter, it was filled with emotion and determination. He loudly said, I will never leave you. In life and death, I will be with you. Even if we die, we will go to the underworld together. Ha ha. Seeing the two of them ignoring everyone was moved, especially Lu Ji. Which woman would not want to be with such a man? All right, since that is the case, I will fulfill your wish. Yi Hao, the four great elders, Tu Lei, Lu Ji and Lu Mu stood together. Everyone stared at the young man in front of them. Because everyone knew that as long as Yuyin was in their hands, would the other party really dare to attack? Everyone could talk about it, but when it came to actually doing it, how many people in the world could actually do it? Lu Ji sneered and said with disdain, Longao, I will give you one last chance. If you kneel down and beg me now, I will let Wan Yuan go. Otherwise, I will kill her right now. Those who touch my Yuan will be killed without mercy. Longao suddenly took out 9 seal of God needles from his bosom and coldly looked at the people in front of him. Without any hesitation, he began to stab the 9 seal of God needles into his own body. The 9 seal of God needles were stabbed into the 9 major acupuncture points on his body, and he began to operate the 9 seal of God needles. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that with his strength, he was no match for the other party. Once the battle started, only death would await him. If he used the 9 God-sealing needles to increase his strength in an instant, he might have a chance to live. Even if he could not escape, he wanted to die a heroic death. If you do not abandon me, I will accompany you in life and death. With such a lover, even if I die, it will be worth it. The 9 God-sealing needles pierced into Longao's body. At this moment, the aura within Longao's body suddenly went berserk and skyrocketed crazily. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Longao's aura rose crazily. Originally, he had already condensed his own aura. At this moment, the 9 God-sealing needles completely stimulated his potential and began to evolve his aura. Evolution realm? Feeling the evolution aura from the other party, everyone was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 77. No one knew how the young man did it. Breaking through the evolution realm in an instant, what kind of concept was that? Just as everyone was dumbfounded, Longao's body suddenly moved. The improvement brought by the 9 needles investiture not only increased his realm, but also his strength and speed. Crack. It was unknown whether it was because they were too shocked, but the 4 elders did not react. The wild drinking blade in Longao's hand had already ruthlessly slashed out. Siga's blade light cut through the horizon. With an unbelievable speed, he killed the 4 elders with one strike. Killing 4 evolution realm experts with one strike? Seeing this, the remaining people were completely dumbfounded. Longao, you're courting death, he roared. How could Tulei not be angry after losing 4 elders in an instant? As a fusion realm expert, Tulei's strength was far from what Longao could compare to. In the fusion realm, one would first fuse the force into one's spiritual power and form a spiritual light. Not daring to be careless, Longao dodged to the side, dodged Tulei, and quickly headed towards Lu Mu. Before he arrived, a terrifying murderous aura arrived first. Longao, if you dare to come over, I'll immediately kill Wan Yuan. Ignoring Lu Ji and Lu Mu's threats, Longao had already disregarded life and death. To be able to die with the people he loved was also a very romantic thing. It was because of this that Longao came in front of Lu Ji and Lu Mu at the fastest speed. His voice was like that of hell as he roared, "Let her go or die." At this moment, Longao was like a death god because he knew very well that the 9 needles investiture could only last for 10 minutes. In other words, after 10 minutes, his strength would disappear, and he might even regress. Once the 9 needles investiture backfired, he would really have no chance. Lu Ji and Lu Mu were completely scared out of their wits because they did not expect that the other party's cultivation could break through the evolution realm in an instant and kill the 4 elders with one strike. He pulled Wan Yuan over, and at this time, Tulei's body also rushed out. Before he arrived, his palms were already fiercely chopping out. "Get out of my way!" The 2 palms collided, and spiritual energy scattered in all directions. Longao's body was instantly sent flying, while Wan Yuan fell back into Tulei's hands. He sneered and said with disdain, "Longao, so what if you broke through to the evolution realm? In my eyes, you're still a useless piece of trash." Longao, who had been sent flying backwards, didn't speak any nonsense. He rushed out once more. The soul-suppressing seal combined with the blood-drinking 8 styles brought a heavy pressure to his opponent. At this moment, Yi Hao also made his move. "Longao, I will make you regret this for the rest of your life." Yi Hao arrived in front of Wan Yuan, and his palm landed squarely on the top of Wang Yuyin's head. If not for Longao's timely arrival, this palm alone would have been enough to shatter Wang Yuyin's head. One had to know that the crown of the head was the weakest part of a martial artist. Even so, Yuyin had fainted after being struck by a palm strike. It was unknown whether she was still alive or not. "Ah! Yihao, I'm going to kill you." Catching Yuyin, who was slowly falling down, Longao's expression completely changed. His body was trembling. He gently placed Yuyin on the ground, looked up to the sky, and roared in pain. Then, he directly charged towards the two. "Ha ha ha, Longao, you can't even protect the person you love the most. How dare you do this? You really don't know what's good for you." Longao held the blood-sucking wild saber in his hand as his killing intent surged. At the same time as he shot towards Yihao and Tu Lei, he suddenly turned halfway and shot towards Lu Ji and Lu Mu. The culprits were the two of them, because if they hadn't taken Yuyin away, Yuyin wouldn't have died. With Lu Mu and Lu Ji's strength, how could they be a match for Longao? They didn't even have the chance to react before being cut down by the blood-drinking frenzy blade. Now there were only two enemies left, Tu Lei and Yihao. 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Longao's heart was filled with endless unwillingness. He coldly looked at his opponents with murderous intent. At this moment, Longao didn't care at all. He held the blood-drinking frenzy blade in his hand and slashed towards Yihao. Longao had already made up his mind. Even if he had to die, he would kill Yihao first. As for Tu Lei, Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that with his current strength, he couldn't defeat Tu Lei even if he used the 9 needles. Would Tu Lei agree to kill Yihao? Now, the 4 elders of the Sky Cloud sect had been killed. Even his cousin and nephew had been killed. In other words, Yihao was the only one left in the Sky Cloud sect. If Yihao was also killed, then he would be the only one left in the Sky Cloud sect. At that time, he would be alone. Just as Tu Lei was about to attack, many figures came from not far away. They were Ouyang Fei and Tang Lin. As the leader of the National Guard Hall, only 2 people in the entire Star Cloud royal family could mobilize the power of the National Guard Hall. One was the Emperor, Ouyang Feng, and the other was Tang Lin. Tu Lei, you are playing with fire. Looking at the sudden appearance of the crowd, Tu Lei and Yihao's faces were extremely ugly. They had never thought that the National Guard Hall would send out all of its forces to protect Longao. If the National Guard Hall insisted on attacking the Sky Cloud sect, then the sect would be doomed. This is between the Sky Cloud sect and Longao. Are the Star Cloud royal family and the National Guard Hall going to intervene? F***CKU. Ouyang Fei didn't take the other side seriously at all. He scolded, "You bastard! We agreed that the Sky Cloud sect would not intervene in the grudge between Yihao and Longao. But now, you shamelessly attacked Yihao and killed his sister-in-law. Because of this, the Star Cloud royal family and the National Guard Hall have to intervene. Tu Lei, I can tell you clearly that the Sky Cloud sect will die today." The Sky Cloud sect will die. Tu Lei didn't doubt Ouyang Fei's words at all. After all, Ouyang Fei's strength was right there. Tu Lei's face was gloomy. For a moment, Tu Lei didn't know what to say. "Brother Ouyang, Hall leader, let me handle this, okay?" Hearing this, Ouyang Fei and Tang Lin were a little surprised. They took a deep look at the young man in front of them and nodded. They knew the young man's personality too well. Once he had decided on something, it was hard to change his mind. Tu Lei, Yihao, I, Longao, swear a blood oath to the heavens that I will personally come to take revenge and destroy the Sky Cloud sect. If I can't do it, I am not a human being. As he spoke, Longao forced out a drop of essence blood from his body and swore a blood oath in front of them. The blood oath was the scariest oath among all the warriors in the Sky Martial Continent. If it couldn't be fulfilled or violated, the warrior would be devoured by the bloodline and die without a burial place. Hearing the young man's oath, Tang Lin and the others were shocked. They wanted to say something, but looking at the young man standing proudly in front of them, they swallowed their words. Things had already come to this point, and they couldn't say anything. Chapter 78. I'll wait for you. At this moment, Longao's aura had completely changed. It was cold and full of murderous intent, as if he came from hell. Too late, the royal family and the National Guard Hall will not interfere with the grudges between you and Brother Long. But you better not provoke the Long family. Otherwise, the royal family will destroy your Sky Cloud sect. The National Guard Hall of the Star Cloud royal family had 3 fusion realm masters. With 20 other members, it would only take a few minutes for them to destroy the Sky Cloud Martial School. This was also why Ouyang Fei was so confident. Looking at Longao's group leaving, Yihao said with a serious face, "Master, what should we do now? Don't go against the Long family. But I don't believe that Longao will be alive to take revenge." Longao, who had left, carried Yuyin in his arms. He took heavy steps and walked step by step. No expression could be seen on his face. Anger? Sadness? None of that. "Brother Long, sister-in-law. Yuyin is not dead." Longao's voice suddenly rose. His eyes were bloodshot. Because of the backlash from the 9 needles, Longao was on the verge of collapsing. But he still insisted on walking. Unforgettable grudges, unforgettable love, unforgettable love, unforgettable love, unforgettable love, unforgettable love for you. If you don't leave me, I will stay with you in life and death. Looking at the tears flowing from the corner of Longao's eyes, Ouyang Fei deeply sighed and didn't continue to persuade him. He came to Tang Lin's side and said, "Uncle Tang, how about we follow Brother Long to the Scarlet Fire Town?" "No problem." Just like that, Longao carried Yuyin and went to the Red Fire Town with the others. Thunder Cloud City, Red Fire Town, Long family. Hearing that the Crown Prince of the Nebula royal family and the people of the National Guard Hall came to the Long family, the whole Red Fire Town was in an uproar. Especially when they heard that Longao had caused a ruckus in the Sky Cloud sect, killed 4 elders of the Sky Cloud sect, and killed Lu Mu and Lu Ji. Everyone in the Red Fire Town and Thunder Cloud City were shocked. They did not know what happened to Longao. As soon as they returned to the clan, Longao carried Yuyin back to his courtyard. No matter who it was, whether it was Long Haosher, Ouyang Fei, or even Tang Lin, without Longao's permission, no one dared to step into the courtyard. It wasn't just the Long family. After receiving the news that their daughter was injured, the people from the Wang family also rushed over. Everyone stood guard outside the courtyard, their faces filled with worry. "Uncle, Auntie, Brother Long has suffered quite a blow this time. When Brother Long comes out, you have to properly advise him." "Uncle? Auntie? Who is he?" "The Crown Prince of the Nebula." Longy nodded and said, "Thank you for your concern. Uncle, I have already dealt with the matter of the Sky Cloud sect. I believe they will not trouble you." On the other side, the 2 elders, Long Haosher and Wang Yidao, stood quietly. Because in the courtyard, one was Long Haosher's grandson, while the other was Wang Yidao's granddaughter. The 2 elders were very worried about their respective grandsons in the courtyard. They seemed to have aged a lot in an instant. "Brother Wang, I..." Waving his hand, Wang Yidao deeply sighed and said, "Brother Long, this is not Aoer's fault. If you want to blame someone, blame Lu Mu and the Sky Cloud sect." Sky Cloud sect. Long Haosher's eyes revealed a cold, murderous aura. But the Sky Cloud sect was like a mountain, pressing down on them. Even with the help of the Wang family, they would not be able to deal with the Sky Cloud sect. In the room of the courtyard, on the tattered bed, Yuyin lay quietly. Her breath was very weak, as if she could disappear at any time. Longao sat on the side of the bed and held Yuyin's small hand tightly. There were tears at the corner of his eyes. Back then, he had persisted for 10 years and he had not shed a single tear. Such a strong man could not help but shed tears at this moment because the silly woman lying on the bed had almost lost her life because of him. "I will never forget you. I will never forget you. Only for you. Only for you. I will still have a dream in the underworld. If you don't leave, I will stay with you in life and death. Yuyin, I'm the one who harmed you. Don't die, don't leave me." Longao's voice sounded helpless and desolate. The top of his head had been struck, and there was no way for him to recover. It was precisely because of this that Longao's body emitted traces of despair and desolation. The night was especially quiet. People were especially desolate. For the entire night, Longao didn't close his eyes. He just quietly looked at Yuyin, who was lying on the bed. Unknowingly, his black hair gradually turned white and his hair turned white overnight. The next day, early morning. Creak. The door of the courtyard was gently opened. Seeing Longao walk out from inside, everyone was completely dumbfounded. With a wah sound, Mu Lin directly cried out. She went up and hugged her son, crying loudly. His hair turned white overnight. At this moment, Longao was dressed in black, but his hair was completely white. He looked like a 70 or 80-year-old man. With white hair and black clothes, coupled with his youthful face, he gave off a very strange feeling. Everyone knew why Longao's hair turned white overnight. For Yuyin, how many people in the world could do such a thing? Mother, I'm fine. Ao, or you? Mu Lin did not know what to say. Because she realized that her son had suffered too much. For so many years, her son had endured too much. Everyone didn't say anything. Each and every one of them quietly stood in place. But in their hearts, they were exceptionally admiring Longao. Such an infatuated man, Wan Yuyin was worth it. Ao, or how is Yuyin? Yuyin's grandfather, Wang Yidao, and parents asked with worried faces. Longao stammered. In the end, he did not say anything. At this moment, Ouyang Fei suddenly walked over and said, Brother Long, I transported the 1,000-year chilling ice bed from Xingyun City. As long as sister-in-law lies on it, she will be fine for a year. And within a year, we can find a way to save her. Really? Hearing Ouyang Fei's words, Longao was overjoyed. As if he could not wait, he immediately ordered people to put the 1,000-year chilling ice bed in the courtyard. As expected, Yuyin lay on the bed and her breathing gradually stabilized. 1 year was more than enough. At this moment, everyone let out a long sigh of relief. Longao said, Big brother Ouyang, thank you. I will remember this kindness. Brother, you don't have to do this. Longao, Ouyang Fei, Long Haosher, Long Yi, and Tang Lin left the courtyard. Mu Lin and Yuyin's mother stayed behind to take care of Yuyin. In the Long family's main hall, Ouyang Fei and Tang Lin sat at the head of the table. Everyone was gathered together. P.S. Please support Little Nine's new book, Myriad World God Emperor. Thank you. Chapter 79. Big Brother Ouyang, I would like to ask, is there any way to save Yuyin? Brother Long, the 1,000-year chilling ice bed can save sister-in-law's life for a year. There are only 2 ways to completely heal her injuries. As expected. Hearing that there was a way to save Yuyin, Longao was overjoyed. After an entire day and night, his face finally relaxed. Big Brother Ouyang, what are the methods? Brother Long, the first method is to find a super expert to use his own strength to help sister-in-law recover. This method is almost impossible, so we only need to consider the second method, which is the 1,000-year thunder fruit. 1,000-year thunder fruit? That's right, the 1,000-year thunder fruit. Legend has it that it is a miraculous fruit nurtured by heaven and earth. No matter how serious the injuries are, as long as you consume the 1,000-year thunder fruit, you can recover to your original state. Somewhat excited, Longao couldn't wait to ask. Big Brother Ouyang, where can I find this 1,000-year thunder fruit? Brother Long, don't be impatient. Last night I already contacted my father and received accurate information. The 1,000-year thunder fruit ripens every 1,000 years. In another month, it will be the time for it to ripen, so it's still early. 1,000 years ripened. There was no need to ask. Longao could guess that once the 1,000-year thunder fruit ripened, many people would try to snatch it. However, for Yuyin, no matter what happened, he had to snatch it. Brother Long, the 1,000-year thunder fruit can't be found in the Star Cloud Kingdom. It only grows in the Thunder Forest of the Thunder Empire. Every time the thunder fruit ripens, it will attract countless experts to fight over it. Without waiting for Ouyang Fei to finish speaking, Longao immediately stood up. His face was resolute and filled with killing intent as he said, "No matter who it is, if they dare to snatch the 1,000-year thunderfruit from me, I will kill them without mercy." Ouyang Fei sighed deeply. Of course, he knew about Longao's feelings for Yuan. He said helplessly, "Brother Long, with your strength alone and the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall, you won't be able to obtain the thunder fruit. Therefore, we have to plan for the long term." Thunder Empire? In the end, his rationality suppressed his impulse. Longao nodded and asked, "Big Brother Ouyang, tell me more about the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall." "All right." After listening to Ouyang Fei's explanation, Longao gained a general understanding of the Thunder Empire. The martial heaven continent was divided into 9 prefectures. Within the Tianzhou prefecture, there were 2 great empires, the Thunder Empire and the Flame Empire. These 2 empires had countless subordinate kingdoms. The Star Cloud Kingdom was one of the subordinate kingdoms of the Thunder Empire. The Thunder Empire also had their own National Guard Hall. However, their strength and background far surpassed the Star Cloud Kingdoms. Otherwise, the Star Cloud Kingdom's National Guard Hall wouldn't have been so suppressed. After coughing twice, Tang Lin, who had been silent all this time, suddenly said, "Brother Long, in 10 days our National Guard Hall will head to the Thunder Empire. At that time, you will be able to seize the 1,000-year flame fruit. Hall Master, are we going to the Thunder Empire?" "Yes. Every 3 years, the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall will hold a thunder battle. Basically, all the affiliated kingdoms will participate. And this year, another thunder battle will be held." Thunder battle? Longao didn't know why, but he felt that the Thunder Empire's Thunderclap War was somewhat sinister. After all, why would the Thunder Empire suddenly hold a Thunderclap War? "Brother Long, I have a few private words to say to you. Your Highness Crown Prince, Hall Master Tang, will take our leave first." Long Haoshe wasn't an idiot. He naturally knew that what Tang Lin was about to say was extremely important. He quickly left with Wang Yidao and the others. Only 3 people remained in the hall: Longao, Ouyang Fei, and Tang Lin. "Hall Master, what's the matter?" "Brother Long, you've made arrangements. Every 3 years, the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall will hold a thunder battle. In the end, it's all to weaken the National Guard Hall of the affiliated kingdoms and completely eliminate the threat to the Thunder Empire." So it was like that. Longao finally understood the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall's intentions. Although the Thunder Empire was a colossus, the affiliated kingdoms also had potential. Once they matured, they would threaten the Thunder Empire's position. The National Guard Hall was the cornerstone of every kingdom. One had to admit that the Thunder Empire's National Guard Hall's actions were very wise. As long as the National Guard Hall of the affiliated kingdoms was suppressed, the Thunder Empire would be able to sit back and relax. They wouldn't need to worry about the affiliated kingdom's retaliation. "Hall Master, there's something I don't understand. Even if the Thunder Empire holds a thunder battle every 3 years, the affiliated kingdoms can't participate. Doesn't that mean the Thunder Empire can't do anything about it?" "Brother Long, to be honest, the Thunder Empire has a total of 32 affiliated kingdoms. 12 of them are diehard loyal to the Thunder Empire, while the remaining 20 are somewhat disloyal. Because of this, the Thunder Empire has decreed that every time the thunder battle is held, the National Guard Hall of the 30 affiliated kingdoms must send at least 10 members to participate. Those who don't participate will immediately suffer the wrath of all the kingdoms and the Thunder Empire." "Hall Master, I don't believe that every affiliated kingdom has more than 10 members, right? The Thunder Empire isn't a fool. They will send spies to monitor every kingdom. So even if the 32 affiliated kingdoms don't want to participate, they will be forced to. So that's how it is. Hall Master, if you have something to say, just say it." Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew that Tang Lin had something to say to him. Otherwise, such a busy person wouldn't have waited here for an entire night. Brother Long, you're already a member of the National Guard Hall, so I'll get straight to the point. I'm prepared to let you participate in this thunder battle. I only hope that you can do one thing and do your best to protect the lives of these 10 people. Otherwise, my Star Cloud Kingdom will forever be an affiliated kingdom of the Thunder Empire. Just as Tang Lin finished speaking, Ouyang Fei suddenly stood up. He respectfully bowed to Longao and said, "Please." Startled, Longao immediately helped Ouyang Fei up. He said, "Hall Master, Big Brother Ouyang, I'm sure you know my strength best. When the time comes, the experts of the 32 kingdoms and the Thunder Empire will all gather together. Don't talk about protecting them. Whether or not I can come back alive is another matter." Longao really couldn't understand why Tang Lin and Ouyang Fei would trust him so much. In the end, he was only a one-line sky martial artist. If it wasn't for Long Fu's help, he believed that he would have already been devoured by the 9 needles of God. When the time came, all the experts would gather in the Thunder Empire. With his strength, would he be able to hold his own? Brother Long, we've all seen your growth. I hope you can promise me. Chapter 80. Since Ouyang Fei and Tang Lin had already said so, could he really not agree? Shrugging his shoulders helplessly, Longao finally agreed. Brother Long, I will send Luo Qing to help you when you go to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle. Luo Qing, the Vice Hall Master of the National Guard Hall, was also an evolver. His position in the National Guard Hall was second only to Tang Lin. Because of this, it felt strange to say it out loud. Longao had only just entered the National Guard Hall, but Luo Qing was already the Vice Hall Master. And now? Tang Lin had already said that Longao would be the main person in this trip to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle. Luo Qing would only be a support. Of course, Longao would not agree to such a thing. However, Tang Lin was very firm and did not give Longao a chance to refute. He continued, Brother Long, the Thunder Battle will officially start in a month. Originally, we were going to set off immediately, but Hall Master, we will set off immediately for the Thunder Empire. At this moment, Longao seemed like he could not wait any longer. There was a 1,000-year-old Thunder Fruit in the Thunder Empire. Only by obtaining this Thunder Fruit could he save Yuan. Although there was still a month before the Thunder Fruit ripened, no one knew if it would ripen ahead of time. Therefore, Longao did not dare to gamble. Yuan only had a year. If he lost this opportunity, he would have to wait 1,000 years. Even if he could wait, Yuan could not. Because of this, Longao had already told himself that no matter what danger he would encounter, no matter what happened, he would obtain the Thunder Fruit. All right, then let's set off immediately. Longao found his grandfather, Long Haosher, and said a few words before leaving Scarlet Fire Town with the others. This time, Longao had killed Lu Mu and Lu Ji. The Nebula Imperial family was not displeased at all. Instead, they had given the position of the city lord to Longao's father, Long Yi. This was a clear indication of the Nebula Imperial family's attitude. With the deterrence of the Nebula Imperial family, Longao knew that the Flowing Cloud sect would not dare to touch his family. It was precisely because of this that Longao left with peace of mind. 2 days later, everyone had returned to the Star Cloud City. The news of the Star Cloud Imperial family's National Guard Hall participating in the Thunder Empire's Battle of Thunder had spread throughout the entire Star Cloud City. No matter what, all the major families still hoped that the Star Cloud National Guard Hall would emerge victorious. This was because only when the kingdom became stronger, these so-called families could also become stronger. Inside the National Guard Hall. No, Hall Master. If you do this, I won't accept it. I believe everyone here won't accept it either. Yue Wei almost roared in anger. Last time, he had been defeated by Longao, and Yue Wei had always been brooding over it. Now, before he could even take his revenge, the Hall Master had told them that this time, in the Thunder Empire, to participate in the Thunder Battle, Longao had become the boss. How could he accept this? It wasn't just Yue Wei. The other Imperial protectors all disagreed, and they were all infuriated. The 10 people who went to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle were Longao, Luoqing, Yue, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jianjun, Hao Chao, Yi Rong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. As the Deputy Hall Master, there was no doubt that Luochen would become the boss this time, but what was the result? There was another point that everyone felt unconvinced. That was, among the 10 people, Longao's strength was the lowest. Although he defeated Yue, what about the others? One must know that in the National Guard Hall, there were many people who were stronger than Yue. Tong Bo, the most powerful person in the National Guard Hall, also said with some dissatisfaction, "Hall Master, I want to ask, what qualifications does Longao have to lead us to participate in the Thunder Battle?" Brother Tong is right. In my opinion, Longao doesn't even have the qualifications to participate in the Thunder Battle. The muzzles were unanimously pointed at Longao. In everyone's opinion, even if Longao defeated Yue, he did not get everyone's approval. One by one, the National Guard did not agree with Longao to participate in the Thunder Battle. A one-line sky martial artist might be normal in the National Guard Hall of a small kingdom, but for the powerful Nebula Kingdom, there was no one-line sky martial artist in the entire National Guard Hall. If Longao participated in the Thunder Battle on behalf of the Nebula National Guard Hall, he would definitely be laughed at by the National Guard Halls of other kingdoms. Tang Lin sat quietly at the head of the table. When everyone was quarreling, he suddenly said, "Everyone calm down." As the National Guard Hall Master, Tang Lin's identity and strength were there. Seeing Tang Lin speak, everyone kept silent. After a glance, Tang Lin asked, "How can you accept Longao's participation in the Thunder Battle?" Although he was the National Guard Hall Master, Tang Lin did not suppress everyone with his identity. After all, the National Guard Hall relied on unity. Even if someone left, they could do better anywhere. "Hall Master, I believe you know better than us what the Thunder Battle means." "That's right. The Thunder Battle represents the kingdom's glory. If Longao participates in the Thunder Battle, won't he become a joke?" Longao, who was sitting at the side, did not say a word from beginning to end. He did not even bother to look at everyone. If it were not for Tang Lin and Ouyang Fei, he would not even participate in the Thunder Battle. It was because of Longao's disregard that everyone became angrier. But when they saw Longao's white hair, many people were surprised. After asking around, they found out about the matter between Longao and Yuyin. Although they looked down on Longao, everyone admired this kind of infatuated man. How many men in this world could have their hair turn white overnight for their woman? He was dressed in black, had white hair, and a stern face. "Master, we agree that it's not difficult for Longao. As long as he can defeat Brother Hao, we will not object." Hao Chao was recognized as the top expert in the National Guard Hall other than the 3 Hall Masters. He was at the peak of evolution. Was it possible for Longao to defeat Hao Chao? Tang Lin was not a fool. Of course, he knew that everyone just wanted to make Longao retreat. He sighed deeply in his heart. Although he was a little unhappy, he could not force it. Otherwise, there would not be any benefits. It might even cause chaos in the National Guard Hall. "We agree with Brother Yu's suggestion. As long as Longao can defeat Brother Hao, we will not have the slightest objection. On the contrary, if Longao loses, not only will he not be able to participate in the Thunder Battle, but he will also have to withdraw from the National Guard Hall. From then on, he will not be able to step into the National Guard Hall." "Okay, I agree." Without waiting for Tang Lin to speak, Longao directly accepted the challenge because he did not want to listen anymore. He continued, "Tomorrow, outside the National Guard Hall, I will fight with Hao Chao. If I win, I hope you all will shut up." Black clothes and white hair, standing there arrogantly and indifferently, exuding a strong sense of confidence. He did not care about anyone at all. Nodding at Tang Lin, Longao turned and left. He did not put anyone in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, Longao had disappeared without a trace. Chapter 81. Just after leaving the Nebula Imperial family, Longao met Domineering, the one-armed saber monarch. Domineering already knew what happened to Longao. Especially when he saw the other party's head full of white hair, he seemed a little sad. "Brother Long, are you all right?" Shaking his head, Longao said. "I'm fine. I heard that you want to represent the Nebula Protector Hall in the Thunder Empire's Thunder War?" How could Longao not know what Domineering was worried about? Because of this, before Domineering could persuade him, he said, "I've already made up my mind." Looking deeply at the youth before him, Domineering naturally knew Longao's character. Once he decided on something, he would not change his mind. Thus, Domineering did not continue to persuade him. After chatting with Domineering for a while, Longao left and found an inn to stay for the time being. At night, dark clouds covered the sky. Within the inn, Longao, who was lying on the bed with his eyes closed and thinking about Yuin, suddenly opened his eyes. Killing intent surged, shooting out 2 rays of golden light. The corner of his mouth hooked up into a sneer, and he disappeared with a flip. The night was exceptionally quiet. Creak the window was silently opened, and silhouettes shot in from outside. There were a total of 14 people, all dressed in black and masked. Each of them was surging with killing intent. Kill without mercy. The 14 people were all one-line sky cultivators. With such powerful strength, who in Nebula City could send out such a powerful force? "You're looking for me?" Seeing the sudden appearance of the youth, the 14 people were somewhat surprised. They were all stunned on the spot, not knowing how the other party discovered them. "The one who kills this person will be heavily rewarded." Without waiting for the 14 people to act, Longao had already made the first move. At the same time, the Snow Guzzle Saber in his hand also used the first move of the 8 styles of blood drinking, Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and the second move, Heart Devouring Ice. A terrifying saber light ruthlessly chopped down like a meteor. Who knew if it was because Longao's speed was too fast? But some of them could not dodge in time and were directly killed by the blood-drinking saber. Killing 3 one-line sky cultivators with 1 saber strike, what kind of concept was this? The remaining 11 people were all shocked. They did not dare to fight alone. The 11 people joined hands and attacked. Their fist energy continuously overflowed like a sea, each wave stronger than the previous one. Longao did not dare to be careless. At the same time, he also silently used soul-suppressing seal. Like a death knell, ruthlessly ringing in the hearts of the 11 people. The 11 of them were given a big fright and had no idea what was going on. They looked at each other in shock and immediately circulated all of their strength to resist this terrifying corrosive power. And Longao, and Longao's, and their souls were their souls absorbed their souls. Their as soul. There, of soul. Once Long Fu refined the souls of the 14 one-line sky martial artists and devoured them, he believed that he would be able to break through to the peak of one-line sky very quickly and lay the foundation for breaking through to the evolution realm. "Long Fu, help me ask who sent them." "Understood, Master." After a while, Long Fu replied, "Master, these people were sent by the Miao and Long families." Sure enough. Longao had already guessed that these assassins were most likely sent by the rank 5 Long family. However, he did not expect the Miao family to intervene. It seemed like the Miao and Long families had reached a tacit agreement to eliminate him. "Miao family? Long family? Since you want to kill me, I won't be polite." At this moment, Longao had a real killing intent. However, he knew clearly that this was not the time to deal with the 2 families. First, he had to obtain the 1,000-year thunder fruit. Because of this, Longao did not immediately go to the 2 families for revenge. He simply dealt with the 14 corpses and then closed his eyes to rest. He was thinking about the voice in his mind. The 1,000-year thunder fruit. No matter what happens, he must obtain it. Nothing must happen to the voice. Long family? Long Ying's expression was extremely ugly. Because just now, The 7 one-line sky warriors he sent out were all sent back. They had become corpses. Longing was not a fool. Of course, he had already guessed that the 7 of them must have been killed by Longao. Moreover, Longao did it deliberately. Longing had a new understanding of Longao's strength. The Miao and Long families, a total of 14 one-line sky warriors, were actually slaughtered by the opponent. What did this mean? Longao, I will not let you go. I will make you die without a burial place. Uncle, let me deal with Longao. At this time, a young man came in from outside. His cold face was filled with murderous intent. Long Ming exuded strong confidence. Even his aura had changed, like a ball of flame. You have successfully merged with the fire dragon? Nodding, Long Ming seemed to be a little excited. He said, Uncle, I have officially merged with the fire dragon. Longao is no longer my opponent. Moreover, I want to rush to the 100 battle ranking. Longing did not want Long Ming to show off too early. After all, becoming a dragon warrior would attract the attention of other forces, especially the high-ranking Long family. It would be very troublesome. How could Long Ming not know? However, his expression was unusually firm as he said, Uncle, if the family wants to advance to the Dragon Valley, I must continue to become stronger. However, it is useless for me to blindly cultivate in seclusion. I can only continue to gain experience. Longao is my first inner demon. If I don't kill this person, it will be difficult for my martial arts cultivation to improve. The inner demon was the biggest obstacle for a warrior. Once a warrior had an inner demon, it would be difficult for his martial arts cultivation to improve, unless he could cut off the inner demon. Long Ming had been a genius that everyone had paid attention to since he was young. However, when he met Longao, he was almost completely defeated. This also became Long Ming's inner demon. Of course, Longing knew that if Long Ming wanted to achieve higher achievements, Longao must kill him. If it was in the past, Longing would definitely not agree. However, the situation was completely different now. Long Ming had become a dragon warrior. If Long Ming and the fire dragon worked together, killing Longao would be a matter of minutes. Because of this, Longing nodded and said, In that case, do as you see fit. However, it is best not to do it in Star Cloud City. As far as I know, Longao has already represented the National Guard Hall to participate in the Battle of Thunder in a month's time. This is your chance. Battle of Thunder? A cruel sneer slowly appeared at the corner of Long Ming's mouth. He looked at the endless void and muttered to himself in an incomparably cold voice. Longao, I will let you know what a dragon martial warrior is. A dragon martial warrior is not an existence you can resist. Humph. When the time comes, I will make you kneel in front of me and beg me. Chapter 82. Nebula Imperial Family, outside the National Guard Hall. Hao Chao, the strongest person under the 3 hall masters of the National Guard Hall. Longao, who had just entered the National Guard Hall less than a month and a half ago, was already at the pinnacle of one-line sky. The difference in strength between Hao Chao and Longao was huge. Almost everyone was leaning towards one side. They all thought that Hao Chao would win and Longao would lose. Yu Wei and the others looked at the young man standing proudly not far away with disdain. They all wished that Hao Chao could kill him. Even if he couldn't, humiliating Longao would also be a good thing. Brother Tang, you and I know Brother Hao's strength very well. Longao's chance of winning is almost 0. If that's the case, why do you still agree to this? Your Majesty, almost everyone in the National Guard Hall is against Longao. If I don't agree to this, I believe that Longao will have a hard time in the National Guard Hall. Not to mention, the Thunder Battle is about to begin. I don't want to complicate things. Ouyang Feng sighed deeply. He wasn't a fool. The reason why these people in the National Guard Hall were against Longao was nothing more than jealousy and hatred. Hao Chao and Longao stood face to face. Both of them were emitting a strong battle intent. Brother Long, no matter who wins or loses in our battle, I admire you very much. Thank you. Seeing the other party's grave and stern face, Hao Chao did not continue to say anything. Longao stood there quietly. He was dressed in black, had a head of white hair, and was aloof and stern. Everything that was originally incompatible was perfectly displayed by Longao. Please! Hao Chao took a step forward and rushed out. As a pinnacle evolution expert, Hao Chao had already completed 108 cycles of evolution. He was only one step away from officially entering the fusion stage. Hao Chao's strength was self-evident. When he attacked, it was like a thunderbolt striking out from the blue. He didn't dare to be careless. Since Yi Yin's incident, Longao seemed to have changed. He became somewhat indifferent. Even his strength had improved. Although he hadn't reached the pinnacle of one-line sky, he wasn't far from it. He did not use the blood-sucking wild blade because he had a good impression of Hao Chao. This battle was just a simple exchange of pointers. He punched out with both fists, using the first style of blood-drinking 8 styles, Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes, and Frozen Heart devouring. The two instantly engaged in a fierce battle. In the blink of an eye, 3 rounds had passed, and the victor was still undecided. Longao lasted 3 rounds? Looking at the battle between Longao and Hao Chao, everyone was a little moved, because what happened to Longao seemed to have exceeded their understanding. In a battle between a one-line sky martial artist and a peak evolution martial artist, almost everyone believed that Longao would not be able to last more than 3 moves against Hao Chao, or even 1 move. Under everyone's shocked gazes, not only had Longao not been defeated in an instant, but he had become more and more courageous as the battle went on. He was even able to contend against Hao Chao as an equal. Was this true? The soul-suppressing seal, the first seal of the destruction seal. The strength of the soul-suppressing seal was that it was all-pervasive, making it impossible to guard against. While Longao was constantly attacking Hao Chao, the soul-suppressing seal had already quietly invaded Hao Chao's body, corroding his soul. Hao Chao, who was originally full of confidence, felt his soul being corroded by a mysterious and powerful force. He immediately revolved all the strength in his body to resist the corrosion of this force. The soul-suppressing seal was the best and most powerful trump card. In every battle, every time he killed an enemy above his level, the soul-suppressing seal would be able to catch his opponent off guard and help Longao defeat his enemy. Longao was very clear in his heart that with his current strength, if he did not have the all-pervasive soul-suppressing seal, not to mention defeating a peak evolution martial artist, even defeating a peak evolution martial artist would be an extremely difficult matter. Seizing this rare opportunity, Longao used both his fists to perform the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. Layers of fist energy overlapped, and the 9 fist energies instantly overlapped. The terrifying fist energy had already smashed out. At this moment, Hao Chao did not have any spare energy to deal with Longao. He was wholeheartedly resisting the mysterious force in his body. This was because he knew that once his soul was corroded by this mysterious force, the consequences would be unimaginable. The fist energy was unleashed. If this fist hit, Hao Chao would definitely be sent flying by Longao's fist. Even if he did not die, he would be crippled. But just as Longao's fists were 1 centimeter away from Hao Chao, he abruptly stopped and said, "Brother Hao, I apologize for my lack of manners." Longao withdrew his fists and stood there. He was also dressed in black, with a head of white hair. He was aloof and cold as he stood there alone, quietly. After a full minute, Hao Chao used all his strength to expel the mysterious force in his body. He let out a sigh of relief. Hao Chao obviously knew what had just happened. Even if he was unwilling to admit it, he still said, "Brother Long, I have lost this battle. I have lost this battle." Hearing Hao Chao's words, everyone was moved. They all looked at the two of them in a daze. This was because no one believed that Hao Chao would actually lose. Could a first-rate martial artist really defeat a peak evolution martial artist? Impossible, this is impossible. Brother Hao, how could you lose to a piece of trash? Before Yue Wei could finish his words, he felt a cold, murderous aura enveloping him in an instant, causing him to shiver. Black clothes, white hair, and cold eyes. Longao coldly looked at Yue Wei. His voice seemed to come from the depths of hell as he said, "If you dare to act lowly again, I will kill you without mercy." Longao's strength had completely scared Yue Wei silly. The words that were already at the tip of his tongue were forcibly swallowed back down. It was because of this that the situation between the two of them was laughable. A one-line sky martial artist had actually managed to intimidate an evolved martial artist. Before this, everyone in the National Guard Hall was unconvinced. They all disliked Longao. But now, Longao had defeated Hao Chao. Who would dare to find trouble with him? Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng were the happiest people. This was because for such a character to appear in the National Guard Hall, it was a good thing for the Nebula royal family. Longao, I now announce that you are officially the Vice Hall Master of the National Guard Hall. Tang Lin's decision caused an uproar. Everyone knew what the Vice Hall Master of the National Guard Hall represented. This was because the three Hall Masters of the National Guard Hall, whether it was the Hall Master Tang Lin or the two Vice Hall Masters Luo Qing and Yan Yi, they were all fusion martial artists. If an evolved martial artist was not qualified to become a Vice Hall Master, would a one-line sky martial artist be qualified? If it was the Longao of the past, no one would be convinced. But now, Longao had defeated Hao Chao. Even if everyone was unwilling, they already knew that things had come to this. It was because of this that the members of the National Guard Hall, including the others, all had smiles on their faces as they expressed their congratulations. Longao did not care about this at all. He only cared about one thing, and that was to immediately head to the Thunder Empire to search for the 1,000-year-old Thunder Fruit. Chapter 83. Clenching his fists, Yue Wei looked at him viciously. National Guard Hall lobby. Hall Master, I'm going to the Thunder Empire immediately. Of course, Tang Lin knew why Longao was in such a hurry. Under normal circumstances, they still needed to wait 10 days before they could depart, but in order to accommodate Longao, Tang Lin had no choice but to bring forward the date. This time, Nebula National Guard Hall sent 10 members to the Thunder Empire to participate in the Thunder Battle. They were Longao, Luo Qing, Yue Wei, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jianjun, Hao Chao Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. 2 Deputy Hall Masters and 8 National Guards. Longao, a one-line sky martial artist, according to the National Guard Hall's strength ranking, it was absolutely impossible for him to become the Deputy Hall Master, let alone the boss of this Thunder Battle. But the result? A Xiantian martial artist had become the Vice Hall Master and the leader of the 10 people. Among the 10 people, at least 80% of them were unconvinced, but they didn't dare to voice their anger. Who could be a match for someone who could even defeat Hao Chao? Tang Lin explained some things and arranged for the 10 people, including Ouyang Fei, to officially leave Nebula City and go to the Thunder Empire to participate in the so-called Thunder Battle. When Longao left Nebula City, the Miao family's assassins and Long Ming had also set off. Longao didn't know what the Miao family and Long family were doing. As a vassal kingdom of the Thunder Empire, Nebula Kingdom had to pay taxes every year. Even if Nebula Kingdom was unwilling, they could only accept it silently under the tyranny of the Thunder Empire. The distance between the Thunder Empire and Nebula Kingdom was very far. According to the speed of Longao and the others, it would take at least 10 or even 15 days to arrive. On the way to the Thunder Empire. Brother Long, I have something to ask you. Do you have time? Brother Luo, what's the matter? As the Deputy Hall Master of the National Guard Hall, Luo Qing's strength and identity were there. Moreover, Luo Qing didn't show a trace of contempt, or even contempt from beginning to end. Brother Long, I'm afraid the Thunder Battle this time isn't that simple. Seemingly surprised, Longao asked in return. Brother Luo, is there a problem? Nodding his head, Luo Qing said with a serious expression. Brother Long, according to reliable information, the Thunder Empire wants to completely eradicate the hidden danger that the kingdom has brought. The 10 members they sent are all super geniuses. Therefore, we must be careful when participating in the Thunder battle. Brother Luo, please speak your mind. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that Luo Qing did not come looking for him just to talk about this matter. Brother Long, since that's the case, I'll get straight to the point. Your talent and potential are obvious to all. With Brother Long's potential, you'll definitely soar to the sky if you participate in the Thunder battle. At that time, if nothing unexpected happens, the Thunder Empire will definitely recruit Brother Long. So, I hope that Brother Long won't agree to the Thunder Empire's offer. So that was the case. Longao smiled helplessly and said, Brother Luo, don't worry. Since I have already promised the Nebula royal family, no matter what conditions the Thunder Empire throws at me, I will not be moved. I wonder if Brother Luo is satisfied with this answer? Satisfied. Of course, Luo Qing was satisfied. Just like that, the group headed towards the Thunder Empire. The Thunder Empire was one of the 9 provinces of the Tianwu continent. It was one of the 2 overlords of the Tianwu continent. There were many vassal kingdoms around it. Thunder City was the capital of the Thunder Empire. It was the place where politics, economy, and military were the most concentrated. It was also the place with the most martial artists. The entire Thunder Empire, including the surrounding experts, were all gathered here. After 13 days of rushing, Longao and the group finally arrived at Thunder City. Looking at the huge city gates, Longao was a little surprised. Not to mention strength, just the magnificence of Thunder City was not something Nebula City could compare to. As one of the vassal kingdoms of the Thunder Empire, the Nebula royal family had a special relay station in Thunder City. 32 kingdoms and 32 relay stations were all gathered in Thunder City, waiting for the Thunder battle to begin. Among the 32 vassal kingdoms of the Thunder Empire, 12 of them were loyal to the Thunder Empire. As for the remaining 20 kingdoms, they were all ambitious and wanted to rise up and break away from the Thunder Empire. It was also because of this that the Thunder Empire wanted to use the Thunder battle to deplete the strength of the 32 kingdoms. As long as the members of the National Guard Hall of each kingdom were eliminated, the 32 kingdoms would not be a concern. Among the many kingdoms, the Nebula Kingdom's strength could be ranked in the top 3. However, the relay station arranged by the Thunder Empire was not very good. This was also a sign of the Thunder Empire's attitude. The Nebula royal family knew this, and so did the other kingdoms. Inside the Nebula relay station, Ouyang Fei arranged everyone and found Longao. He went straight to the point and said, Brother Long, according to reliable information, the 1,000-year Thunderfruit has been taken by someone. Therefore, we are already late. What did you say? Longao's main purpose in coming to Thunder City this time was to obtain the 1,000-year Thunderfruit. But now, Ouyang Fei told him that the 1,000-year Thunderfruit had disappeared and was taken by someone else. How could he not be angry? If he could not obtain the 1,000-year Thunderfruit, Yuyin would not be able to save her. 1 year, Yuyin only had 1 year. In other words, after 1 year, even if he obtained the 1,000-year Thunderfruit, it would be useless. Brother Long, I did not investigate this matter clearly. I am sorry. Reason suppressed emotion. Longao knew that this matter had nothing to do with Ouyang Fei. In the end, Ouyang Fei helped him because of a favor. Not helping him was an obligation. Therefore, he did not blame Ouyang Fei. Big brother Ouyang, you must be joking. I want to ask if you have any clues as to who obtained the 1,000-year Thunderfruit? And don't worry. I have already sent people to investigate. I believe there will be a result soon. In another 12 days, the Thunder battle will officially begin. Brother Long, during this time, you have to rest well. No matter if you win or lose, I only have one request. That is, you must come back alive. With Ouyang Fei's help, Longao knew that there would be a result soon. Nodding, Longao said, Don't worry, I will protect my life. Brother Long, We have just arrived at Thunder City. Why don't we go out and have a look? Longao did not want to go, but seeing Ouyang Fei's urgent eyes, he could only agree helplessly. Just like that, the two of them got up and left Star Cloud Station. As the capital of Thunder Empire, Thunder City's prosperity was not something that Star Cloud City could compare to. Because of this, all the people from the 32 kingdoms entered Thunder City and enjoyed the prosperity of Thunder City. There were even some winners who could not resist the temptation of Thunder City and directly joined the National Guard Hall. Brother Long, Thunder City's most famous snack is the rolling donkey. Previously, it was transported at top speed. When it was sent to Star Cloud Imperial family, the taste had changed. Since we are here this time, why don't we try it ourselves? No problem. Chapter 84. Rolling Donkey, Thunder City's most famous snack. In the entire Thunder City, there was only one rolling donkey shop that specialized in it. It was packed with people. If one wanted to eat a bowl of rolling donkey, sometimes they could even queue up for 2 hours. Ouyang Fei had already made arrangements. He had already sent people to reserve seats. When the two of them arrived, they could only shrug their shoulders helplessly. After sitting down, the waiter served 2 bowls of rolling donkey. After tasting the first mouthful, Ouyang Fei couldn't help but praise. It's really delicious. Longao also nodded his head in agreement. He had to admit that Thunder City's rolling donkey was indeed delicious. No wonder there were people who didn't hesitate to queue up for more than 2 hours just to buy a bowl of rolling donkey. You two get lost. Our family's young master wants to eat here. At this time, a group of burly men came in and started shouting without distinguishing between right and wrong. They ferociously drove away the crowd in the shop. When the originally angry crowd saw the 2 youngsters behind the burly men, they didn't dare to say anything. One by one, they left unwillingly. Brother Duanmu, I know you like rolling donkey the most. Therefore, I asked the master to make a brand new one. Try it. Duanmu Lin smiled with satisfaction. As the young master of the Duanmu family, no matter where he went in Thunder City, he was a high and mighty existence. Long Ili, the 4th-rank Long family's hedonistic disciple. He relied on his family's strength to commit all sorts of outrages. Together with Duanmu Lin, they were known as the 4 pests of Thunder City. This time, Long Ili took a fancy to a maid beside Duanmu Lin. The more he couldn't get, the more he wanted. It was precisely because of this that Long Ili tried to curry favor with Duanmu Lin. You 2 bastards, did you hear that? Almost everyone in the shop had left. Only Longao, Ouyang Fei, and a few others remained. Coldly looking at the burly man, Longao asked, Who are you calling? You bastards are calling you. Just as the burly man finished speaking, he realized that something was wrong. With a roar, he ruthlessly sent a palm strike toward the 2 of them. However, the palm strike came back even faster. He screamed and fell to the ground. It was obvious that he had fainted. Seeing the burly man suddenly attack, Long Ili and Duanmu Lin's expression turned cold. Looking at Ouyang Fei, Long Ili sneered and said, Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom. Brother Duanmu, do you know him? Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom? Just trash. Duanmu Lin, say it again? Being humiliated in such a manner, Ouyang Fei was enraged. He stood up abruptly. As the Crown Prince of the Nebula royal family, insulting him was equivalent to insulting the entire Nebula kingdom. With a cold snort, Duanmu Lin sneered and said, Trash from a crippled country dares to be impudent here? Men, take them down. As soon as Duanmu Lin finished speaking, 6 or 7 burly men shot out from behind the 2 of them. They charged towards Longao and Ouyang Fei. However, the Nebula royal family's guards followed behind them. In the blink of an eye, both sides were engaged in a fierce battle. How dare you? How dare you resist? Kill without mercy. Seeing that the other party was actually resisting, Long Ili and Duanmu Lin were greatly shocked, and both of them almost roared in anger. According to the status of Long Clan and Duanmu Clan in Thunder City, who would dare to touch the lion's head and pull out a tooth from the tiger's mouth? As the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei was also a one-line sky warrior. Even if he didn't make a move, the Xiantian Qi he released was enough to suppress everyone. Xiantian warrior? Long Yili and Duan Mulin were greatly shocked, as if they couldn't believe it. Both of them turned around at the same time, rolling and crawling to escape. Their appearance was extremely embarrassing. Big brother Ouyang, what's wrong? Looking at the dignified face of Ouyang Fei, Longao was very surprised. Brother Long, you don't know, but the two people who just escaped are from Thunder City's Long clan and Duanmu clan. Both of them are known as the Four Evils of Thunder City. This time, after being humiliated by me, I believe they will absolutely not let this matter go. As the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei naturally knew that this matter wasn't so simple. Although Long clan and Duanmu clan were only two clans in Thunder City, their strength was almost the same as the Nebula royal family. This was the foundation and strength of the major clans in Thunder City. Longao didn't say much, because he was too lazy to care about the matters between clans and countries. As long as he could find the 1,000-year-old Thunder Fruit, then he would participate in the Thunder City War. Ouyang Fei and Longao didn't continue to eat and roll around. The two of them just got up and prepared to leave. Outside, there were already many people standing there. Long Yili and Duan Mulin were also there. Their faces were filled with indifference and killing intent. Long Yili roared in anger. The trash inside, roll out for this young master. You bastards, you actually dare to be impudent here. Are you blind? Brother Long, you see, I didn't say anything wrong. This kind of scum, if it weren't for the clan behind them, I'm afraid they wouldn't even be able to survive for 3 days. Longao also smiled and said, Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. I also want to see how powerful the helpers those two found are. Nodding, Longao and Ouyang Fei left the store with their subordinates. Looking at the dozens of people outside, the two of them smiled. This was because after sensing the aura of the crowd, the two of them discovered that the helpers Long Yili and Duan Mulin found were only 2 Xiantian realm warriors, and they were only 100 Scatter Heaven warriors. 100 Scatter Heaven warriors? You two bastards, don't you know who we are? How dare you be impudent here? If the two of you kneel down now and call me grandfather 3 times, I might be magnanimous and only break one of your legs. Otherwise what? Longao asked with interest. For the hedonistic disciples of big clans, other than waiting for death, they could only rely on their power to bully others. In the end, Longao looked down on these hedonistic disciples from the bottom of his heart. If it weren't for the other party's identity, he and Ouyang Fei wouldn't even bother to talk nonsense. Reckless fool, brother Duanmu, talking nonsense with this kind of scum is simply a waste of our breath. Nodding his head, Duan Mulin's face turned cold, and murderously said, Kill! Under Duan Mulin's command, 2 burly men shot out from behind the two of them. They were the helpers the two of them had found this time. The two of them were 100 Scatter Heaven warriors. Relying on the power of the clans behind them, the two of them directly attacked to kill Longao and Ouyang Fei. In the eyes of the Long and Duanmu clans, the small Nebula Imperial family was nothing. You're courting death. Ouyang Fei's eyes turned cold. No matter what, he was the crown prince of the Nebula royal family. He represented the Nebula royal family. If he didn't dare to retaliate after being humiliated again and again, it wouldn't just be him losing face. It would be the entire Nebula royal family. As a one-line sky warrior, when Ouyang Fei rushed out, his powerful aura had already shrouded the 200 Scatter Heaven warriors. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Ouyang Fei's palms fiercely chopped down. Chapter 85. Killing the enemy in one move. Ouyang Fei didn't hold back at all. He killed the 200 Scatter Sky cultivators in one move. Long Yili and Duan Mulin might be hedonistic, but they weren't stupid. Seeing Ouyang Fei kill 2 of their subordinates in one move, their faces changed. Both of them shouted in shock. One-line sky cultivators. One-line sky cultivators were above 100 scatter sky. Long Eli and Duan Mulin didn't dare to stay any longer. They turned around to leave, but at this time, Longao, who hadn't moved since the beginning, silently appeared in front of them like a ghost. With a sneer, Longao asked indifferently, "You two, where are you going?" Hearing the screams of the two, Longao was completely depressed. He hadn't even made a move yet, but the two of them were screaming like pigs being slaughtered. This was too ridiculous. "Brother Long, forget it." Ouyang Fei, who had just beheaded 200 Scatter Heaven's martial artists, calmed down and instantly became rational. Because he was very clear in his heart that once he killed Long Eli and Duan Mulin, Long family and Duanmu family would definitely not leave the matter at that. They were both families, but the strength of the Long and Duanmu families was there for all to see. Even if it was the Star Cloud Kingdom, it wouldn't be a match for the Long and Duanmu families. Even if he was unwilling, Ouyang Fei still suppressed his emotions. Even if it wasn't for himself, he had to think about the kingdom. How could Longao not know about Ouyang Fei's worries? No matter what, with the status and identity of the Long and Duanmu families in Thunder City, the Star Cloud Kingdom wouldn't provoke these two families. "You two ungrateful dogs better get out of the way for this young master. Otherwise, you'll die without a burial place." Until now, Long Eli and Duan Mulin were still acting ruthlessly. In their hearts, they thought that the other party wouldn't dare to touch them in Thunder City. What a joke. The Long and Duanmu family's strength and status in Thunder City were second only to the Thunder Imperial family. With a sneer, Longao said indifferently, "You two better shut up. Shut your sister up. Who do you think you are, country bumpkin? Let me tell you, you better be smart. If you dare to provoke this young master, be careful that you won't have a tomorrow." The faces of Long Eli and Duan Mulin were filled with disdain. They heavily snorted, and the two of them prepared to leave without the slightest scruple. The people who were watching the good show all around naturally recognized the four pests of Thunder City. Every one of them dared to be angry, but didn't dare to say anything. They were cursing the 18 generations of ancestors of these two people in their hearts. However, when the two men who were about to leave saw that the other party had no intention of giving way, they were instantly enraged. "Kid, you're playing with fire. Get out of my way." Long Eli and Duan Mulin were infuriated when they saw that the other party was still not giving way. However, they were powerless to do anything because the 100 Scatter Heaven's martial artists that they had found this time were all killed by the other party in a single move. Would they dare to personally take action? "Brother Long, forget it. Big brother Ouyang, when it's time to give in, give in. When you can't compromise, don't compromise." Longao's voice was filled with endless coldness. He looked coldly at the two people in front of him and said word by word, "Kneel or die. Kneel or die. Kid, you dare to make us kneel?" Before the two of them could say anything, an unparalleled aura suddenly rose from Longao's body and suppressed them from all directions. According to Longao's strength, how could the two of them withstand the aura released by him? Kacha kacha! Long Eli and Duan Mulin's ribs were directly crushed and their faces were filled with fear. Only now did the two of them realize that the other party wasn't joking with them. Kneel or die. Under the powerful aura, Long Eli and Duan Mulin still knelt down. Their faces were filled with coldness and anger, but they didn't dare to say anything because they knew that the other party wasn't joking with them. If they were really killed, even if their families came forward to take revenge, they would already be dead. People like Long Eli and Duan Mulin were most afraid of death. Good. Don't know who took the lead, but the crowd of onlookers immediately applauded. Everyone hated the four pests of Thunder City to the extreme and wished that the other party would immediately kill the two of them. Hearing the burst of applause coming from all around, whether it was Long Eli or Duan Mulin, the complexion of both of them became gloomy and cold. If it was in normal times, both of them would have already gotten angry, but now the situation was different. Both of them obediently kneeled on the ground and didn't dare to continue to be arrogant. "Don't think that you are so awesome. If it wasn't for Long family and Duanwu family behind you, I can clearly tell you that you are just two piles of trash. If I want to kill you, I can do it in a matter of minutes. Remember, you have to pay the price for being shameless. Long Ili and Duanwu Lin still didn't dare to speak, but both of them were cursing the other party's 18 generations of ancestors in their heart. At the same time, they thought that after I, your father, leave this place, I will definitely make you look good. If it wasn't for Long family behind them, Longao wouldn't have let them off. Snorting, he turned around and left with Ouyang Fei. And at this time, the crowd of onlookers had already dispersed. Practically no one stayed behind. What kind of joke was this? If they were caught by the four pests of Thunder City, even if they didn't die, they would lose a layer of skin. Brother Duanwu, this enemy must be avenged. Humph, daring to provoke us, I will make him pay double the price. Brother Long, now you and I will return to our families and invite experts. Remember, the other party is a warrior from One Line Sky. One Line Sky is basically useless. I understand. Enduring the pain of their broken ribs, Long Ili and Duanwu Lin struggled to get up from the ground and walk towards their respective families step by step. Brother Long, this time you were a little reckless. No matter what, Long Ili and Duanwu Lin will not leave this matter at that. Big Brother Ouyang, I know what you want to say, but I can only tell you that if you blindly seek for perfection, Star Cloud Kingdom will never rise in this lifetime. Too trash. I believe Long family and Duanwu family will not become enemies with Star Cloud Kingdom because of this. Rise? Easier said than done. As the Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom, Ouyang Fei wanted the kingdom to rise more than anyone else. But the reality was, this matter was easy to think about, but it was incomparably difficult to actually do it. However, Longao had already said this much. If he continued to say it, it would be a little unkind. Brother Long, it's still early. How about I bring you to the auction house to take a look? It is said that the auction house in Thunder City has many good things. As long as Brother Long likes it, I will definitely give it to you. Auction house? Longao was also a little interested and nodded. Just like this, the two of them walked towards Thunder City, which was also the largest auction house in Thunder Kingdom. In the auction house, there would be auctions every day, but every few days, there would be a large-scale auction. Longao and Ouyang Fei's luck was not bad, they just happened to run into it. Chapter 86. Thunderbolt City, the largest auction house. The auction house had 2 floors. The first floor was a huge hall that could hold at least 1,000 people. The huge auction house was packed with people. Everyone was shouting their bids, and the highest bidder would get the item. Ouyang Fei and Longao had been in the auction house for 2 hours, but they had not seen anything. Only when the last item came up did Longao's spirit rise. His eyes lit up as he stared at the item on the stage. 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit! Ouyang Fei was also surprised. He had never thought that the last item of the auction would be the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit that Longao wanted. He had searched high and low for it, only to find it without any effort. Brother Long, don't worry. No matter what, I will get the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit for you. Thank you, Big Brother Ouyang. Longao knew very well that it would be difficult to bid for the 1,000-year-old Thunderbolt Fruit with his own strength. However, Ouyang Fei was different. As the Crown Prince of the Nebula Royal family, Ouyang Fei definitely had the strength to do so. If it was something else, Longao would not trouble Ouyang Fei. However, the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit was different. No matter what happened, he had to get the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. On the auction stage, the auctioneer looked at the last item and said loudly, "Now for the last item, the 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. I believe everyone is clear about the value of this 1,000-year Thunderbolt Fruit. Let's not waste any more words. The starting price is 3 Xiantian Beast Dawn. Xiantian Beast Dawn were usually auctioned with gold coins. However, valuable items were not auctioned with gold coins, but Beast Dawn. 3 Scientian beaston were equivalent to killing 3 Scientian spiritual beasts. One could imagine the value of 3 Scientian beaston. However, the value of a Millennium Thunder Fruit far surpassed 3 Scientian beaston. Furthermore, the Millennium Thunder Fruit was even rarer than the Scientian beaston. 4 Scientian beaston. Before anyone else could bid, the person who bid suddenly said, "This 1,000-year Thunderbolt fruit is for the third prince." The third prince Zhao Hao? Hearing that the person who made the bid was actually the third prince Zhao Hao, the crowd went into an uproar. Everyone knew what the third prince Zhao Hao meant. In Thunder City, the Thunder Imperial family was the absolute overlord. There were 3 clans that stood on equal footing. They were the rank 4 Long clan, Jiang clan and Duanwu clan. The third prince was the absolute overlord of Thunder City, and the third prince was even more of a hedonistic prince. Normally, he would run amok, and no one dared to provoke him. Because of this, when the third prince started bidding, who would dare to continue bidding against the third prince for the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit? No one dared to say a word even though they were angry. "Brother Long, third Prince Zhao Hao is not to be trifled with. Why don't we think of other ways?" As the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, Ouyang Fei naturally did not dare to provoke the Thunder royal family. How could Longao not know about Ouyang Fei's concerns? He said, "Brother Ouyang, I must get the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. This has nothing to do with the Nebula royal family." 5 Scientian beast cores. Hearing the sudden bid, everyone was dumbfounded. They looked at the person who made the bid in shock. They didn't know who would dare to bid against the third prince in Thunder City. Jiang Jun, a disciple of the Jiang clan, sneered and said, "Third prince, I don't know which dog dares to bid against you. I'll go take a look." Grabbing Jiang Jun, Zhao Hao sneered and said, "I'd like to see what kind of ability this person has." 10 Scientian beast cores. 11 Scientian beast cores. With swords drawn and bows bent, everyone was looking at Longao. They didn't know whether this person's brain was damaged or not. He actually dared to bid against the third prince. Each and every one of them foolishly looked at both sides bidding. As the bidding continued to escalate, the third prince Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun's complexion were simply gloomy to the extreme. This time, Longao didn't give Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun a chance to continue bidding. He directly shouted, "To level 2 Scientian beast cores." A level 2 Scientian beast core was equivalent to a one-line sky warrior. One could imagine the value of a level 2 Scientian beast core. Even 100 Scientian beast cores couldn't compare to 2 level 2 Scientian beast cores. The auctioneer didn't dare to drop the hammer. After all, the one who made the bid was the third prince. Once the hammer dropped, the third prince would come looking for trouble, and the auctioneer would be held responsible. However, at this time, Longao stood up and sneered, "Is this the auction house's rule?" Although the surrounding people didn't say anything, they had already started whispering. This kind of situation had a huge impact on the auction house. After all, the auction house played with its reputation. Once it lost its reputation, the auction house wouldn't be far from closing down. The third Prince Zhao Hao was about to continue bidding, but Jiang Jun stopped him. He shook his head and said, "Third Prince, this person is obviously looking for trouble. Although the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit is precious, 3 level 2 Scientian beast cores are indeed not worth it. I don't care. Bastard, you actually dare to bid against me. Shout for cores. For level 2 Scientian beast cores. For level 2 Scientian beast cores." Longao muttered in his heart. No matter what, he only had 2 level 2 Scientian beast cores. He couldn't take out any more. But to give up on the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit? If he gave up this time, who knows when he would be able to get the next 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. He could wait, but Yuan couldn't. Thinking of this, Longao gritted his teeth and shouted, 20 level 2 Scientian beast cores. An uproar broke out as everyone stared at the youth. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that the youth was deliberately looking for trouble. Who was this person? Why did he dare to find trouble with the third prince? Did he not want to live anymore? Are you King looking for trouble? Don't you know who he is? Jiang Jun completely exploded. He was also trying to flatter the youth as he roared in anger. The third prince Zhao Meng didn't continue bidding. Even if he was a prince, he couldn't take out more than 20 level 2 Xiantian beast cores. But losing the bid was a complete loss of face. Who you are has nothing to do with me. If you have the ability, then bid. If you don't have Xiantian beast cores, then shut up. Looking at the auctioneer on the stage, Longao asked. If no one continues to bid, then this 1,000-year thunder fruit should belong to me, right? The auctioneer glanced at the third prince. Seeing that the third prince didn't continue bidding, he gritted his teeth and said, 20 level 2 Xiantian beast cores sold. Longao was overjoyed. He didn't care about anyone else as he grabbed the 1,000-year thunder fruit from the box and threw it into the dragon seal space. He then turned around and prepared to leave. Wait, you haven't taken out your 20,000-year thunder fruits. Record it down first. I will head to the Thunder Forest later to hunt for spiritual beasts. I will definitely gather 20 level 2 Xiantian beast cores and hand them over to you. Chapter 87. Wait. Hearing the other party's words, the auctioneer was shocked. Dine and dash? Although there were many people who dared to dine and dash in this world, no one dared to dine and dash in Thunder City's auction house. Not to mention, this person had just bid against the third prince. Could it be that this person was deliberately looking for trouble? I've already said that I will definitely return the 20 level 2 Xiantian beast dawn to the auction house. How dare you dine and dash? Guards! Just as the words of the auction house fell, a lot of big men shot from all around. Each and every one of them stared at Longao with a fiendish look. At this time, Jiang Jun suddenly sneered and said, So it's a trash who eats and dashes. Capture this person for me. Don't kill him. I want to see how many heads you have that you dare to behave so atrociously in Thunder City. The experts of the Imperial family, Jiang family, and the auction house all rushed forward. 30 to 40 people left quickly and returned even faster. Miserable screams resounded throughout the auction house. Looking at the scattered figures, Jiang Jun and the third Prince Zhao Hao were shocked. Xiantian warrior? No wonder the other party was so arrogant. So he was a Xiantian warrior. Xiantian warriors might be able to dominate other places, but in Thunder City where experts were as common as clouds, even Xiantian warriors had to be obedient. As the third prince of the imperial family, Zhao Hao naturally had Xiantian warriors as bodyguards, and so did Jiang Jun. Under the two's orders, 2 Xiantian warriors rushed out. But in the end, the 2 Xiantian warriors didn't even have the chance to react before they were ruthlessly kicked out by Longao. 1 kick each? Seeing the Xiantian warriors being kicked out by the other party, Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun were completely stunned. But at this time, a terrifying aura spread out and enveloped the entire auction house. Little brother, don't be impatient. A middle-aged man slowly walked down from the second floor with a fan in his hand. Seeing the middle-aged man, the auctioneer bowed and greeted. Manager. Waving his hand, Lu Feng smiled and said, I already know about this matter. Leave this matter to me. Go and disperse everyone. Today's auction is over. Nodding his head, the auctioneer immediately sent people to disperse the auction house's people. In a short while, everyone in the hall disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only Longao, Lu Feng, Zhao Hao, and Jiang Jun. President Lu, this person is bidding against me, but he doesn't have a beast core. According to this situation, shouldn't this 1,000-year-old thunder fruit belong to me? Looking at the third prince, Zhao Hao, Lu Feng felt even more disdain and contempt in his heart. However, due to the other party's status, he still smiled and said, Third prince, I'll deal with this matter later. Third prince, the auction has ended. An eviction order. Although Lu Feng did not say it explicitly, The meaning behind his words was very clear. He had directly issued an eviction order. If it were not for the sake of the Thunder Royal family, Lu Feng would not have given the third prince, Zhao Hao, any face. Taking a deep look at Longao, Zhao Hao said coldly, "I will remember you. I hope you will stay here for the rest of your life." After Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao left, Lu Feng smiled and said, "Little brother, are you from the Star Cloud Kingdom?" Longao was not surprised that the other party knew his identity. After all, he was sitting with Ouyang Fei just now. According to the auction house's strength, it would be very easy for them to find out his identity in a short period of time. Longao from the Scarlet Fire town of Star Cloud Kingdom. Okay, I'm Lu Feng. If you don't mind, you can call me Big Brother Lu, and I'll call you Brother Long. How about it? Big Brother Lu? Brother Long? Longao was very surprised. After all, the other party's status and strength were there for all to see. Why was he so polite to him? Big Brother Lu, since you're like this, what about the third prince, Zhao Hao? Ha ha ha, it's fine. He's just a hedonistic prince. Come, I have something to tell you. Filled with curiosity, Longao followed Lu Feng to the second floor and into a simple room. Big Brother Lu, I'm determined to get the 1,000-year thunder fruit. However, I don't have 20 level 2 Xiantian beast dawn on me. But I promise that I'll return them to the auction house within a month. Shaking his head, Lu Feng said, Brother Long, I'll give you this 1,000-year thunder fruit. As for the third prince, you don't have to worry about him. Big Brother Lu, I can't accept this thunder fruit for nothing. If you refuse again, you won't treat me as your big brother. Longao could only accept. No matter what, he couldn't hand over this 1,000-year thunder fruit. If it wasn't for the upcoming thunder battle, he would have immediately returned to the Scarlet Fire town. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. Are you here to represent the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall in this year's thunder battle? Without hiding anything, Longao nodded and replied, That's right. Brother Long, forgive me for being blunt. According to my understanding, with your strength, you don't have the qualifications to enter the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall, let alone represent them in the thunder battle. I'd like to ask, why is that? To be honest, Big Brother Lu, I don't know about this either. It's all done by the Star Cloud Kingdom. Seeing that Longao wasn't willing to say more, Lu Feng didn't continue asking. He said, The thunder battle is a life and death battle between the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall. If you're not careful, you'll lose your life. Brother Long, if you're willing, you can join my auction house. How about it? Olive branch. Seeing that the other party had thrown out an olive branch, Longao was also a little surprised. He said, Big Brother Lu, I appreciate your kindness. However, the Nebula Royal family has treated me well. I will never do such a thing. So I hope that Big Brother Lu can understand. Okay, since you're not willing, I won't force you. Lu Feng seemed to have guessed that Longao would be like this. He didn't make things difficult for him. Then the two chatted for a while before Longao turned and left. Manager, he's just a small Star Cloud Kingdom protector. Do we need to do this? I've seen what this kid is like. He's been a waste for 10 years, but he didn't give up. Not long ago, he rose up quickly. In just a few months, he grew to this stage and even became the Star Cloud Kingdom's protector. With this achievement, is he still an ordinary person? Manager, although this kid isn't simple, he provoked the third prince. If we extend an olive branch, wouldn't we be going against the royal family? Humph, a waste of a prince. I don't believe that the royal family will go against our auction house for a waste. Pass down the order. If this kid comes back with 20 innate level 2 beast dawn in the future, we can't accept it. Do you understand? Understood. Looking at the youth who had already left, Lu Feng's eyes slowly lit up. He said to himself, Longao, interesting. I hope you won't disappoint me. Chapter 88. Outside the auction house. Bastard, stop right there. Bastard, who are you calling? Bastard, he's calling you. Jiang Jun was furious when he realized that he had been cheated. However, he was stopped by the third prince, Zhao Hao. Zhao Hao sneered and said, Longao, Star Cloud Kingdom State Protector, one-line sky martial artist. I'm puzzled. Is there no one else in Star Cloud Kingdom? They actually let a trash enter the Star Cloud Kingdom Protector Hall. Ridicule, contempt, and disdain. The third prince and Jiang Jun didn't have any expert bodyguards by their side, but the two of them were still calm and collected. This was because the two of them were very confident. With their status in Thunder City, even if the other party was given 10,000 guts, they still wouldn't dare to be impudent. Get lost. Longao could not be bothered with the two. Towards such a hedonistic disciple, he did not even bother to say another word. He turned around and prepared to leave. However, he was still stopped by the two. For the sake of Star Cloud Kingdom, I'll spare your life. However, you have to hand over the 1,000-year thunder fruit. With a whirlwind, Longao's body had already disappeared. Seeing that the other party had ignored them, Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao's faces were extremely gloomy. Third prince, this person is so presumptuous. If we just let it go like this, wouldn't we be laughed at by others? Zhao Hao nodded. Zhao Hao's reputation in Thunder City was so bad that it was even worse than the four pests of Thunder City. Since Longao ignored him, how could Zhao Hao let it go so easily? He said coldly, I'll let him know the consequences of offending me. Inside the Star Cloud Relay Station. Brother Long, are you all right? I'm fine. Brother Long, I'm sorry for what happened just now. For the kingdom, I had no choice but to do that. How could Longao not know what Ouyang Fei was thinking? From the beginning to the end, he had never blamed him. No matter what, Ouyang Fei's status was there. Once he provoked the Thunder Royal family and the other major families, it would not only involve Ouyang Fei but also Star Cloud Kingdom. Longao smiled and said, Big brother Ouyang, it's okay. I know your situation. Ouyang Fei's expression was solemn. He thought for a while and said, Brother Long, now that you've offended the Thunder Royalty, the Jiang family, the Duanmu family, and the Long family, why don't you return to the kingdom first and save your sister-in-law? I'll handle the matter of the Thunder battle. Big brother Ouyang, this matter started because of me. If I don't solve it, I will definitely not leave. As for this 1,000-year-old Thunder Fruit, I will have to trouble you to send someone to send it back to Scarlet Fire Town. Longao's intention was very simple. He wanted to send the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit back and save Yuan. As for himself, he would not leave Thunder City. In the end, Longao was completely depressed to the extreme. In Thunder City, aside from the overlord of the Thunder Royal family, Longao had offended the other three major powers, the Jiang family, the Long family, and the Duanmu family. Longao knew very well that once the four major powers joined forces to deal with him, even Ouyang Fei and the Star Cloud Kingdom would not dare to support him. Brother Long, Big brother Ouyang, since things have already reached this stage, it seems that we can only counter soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. Longao took out the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit and handed it to Ouyang Fei. Big brother Ouyang, no matter what happens, you must bring this 1,000-year Thunder Fruit to Yuan smoothly. Please. Looking deeply at Longao in front of him, Ouyang Fei sighed. He knew the importance of this 1,000-year Thunder Fruit better than anyone else. He nodded and said, Don't worry, leave this matter to me. Ouyang Fei left with the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. Before Longao could return to his room, a few people came from another direction. It was Yue Wei and the others. Humph, Longao, stop right there. What's the matter? Longao, we already know what happened today. We have no right to interfere with what you do, but you have to understand one thing. You are now the state protector of the Nebula National Guard Hall. Everything you do represents the Star Cloud Kingdom. You have now offended the Thunder Royal family, the Jiang family, the Long family, and the Duanmu family. I want to ask you, have you ever thought of the Star Cloud Kingdom? This time, the Nebula National Guard Hall sent a total of 10 state protectors, namely Longao, Luoqing, Yue, Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jianjun, Hao Chao, Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan. As the Deputy Hall Master of the National Guard Hall, Luoqing was originally dedicated to protecting Longao. However, what happened today had seriously threatened the Nebula National Guard Hall and the Nebula Royal Family. As the Deputy Hall Master, even Luoqing could not continue to protect Longao. Ha ha, brother Yu, I was there at the time. I really don't blame Brother Long, Prince Ouyang, this is a matter of the National Guard Hall. I hope the royal family will not intervene. Although the Nebula National Guard Hall obeyed the orders of the Nebula Royal Family, it also existed independently. Unless the Emperor of the Nebula Kingdom came in person, no one in the entire Nebula Kingdom could command the National Guard Hall. Ouyang Fei seemed to want to say something, but in the end, he closed his mouth. However, his face was full of displeasure. Yu Wei, I have already said at the beginning that if you provoke me again, I will kill you. Are you itching for a beating? Hearing this, Yu Wei was shocked. He had heard of Longao's tyranny with his own heirs. What's more, a person who could even defeat Hao Chao. If Longao really beat him, wouldn't he be in trouble? Luoqing coughed twice and said with some displeasure, Brother Long, you are indeed wrong in this matter. Once the Thunder Royal Family and the 3 major families come forward, not only you, but even the National Guard Hall will suffer. Do you understand? Longao wasn't a fool. He completely understood that if he was useful, the National Guard Hall would treat him like a treasure. Seeing that he got into trouble, the National Guard Hall wanted to kick him out. The 9 members of the National Guard Hall were all present. It was clear. With a sneer, Longao asked back, What do you want? Yue snorted. Longao, our meaning is simple. Because of your recklessness, you have provoked the Thunder Royal Family and the 3 major families. We, the National Guard Hall, will not clean up your mess. So from now on, hope your ass. Yue wasn't angry at all. Longao said directly, It is useless to keep the National Guard Hall like this. Luoqing, from now on, I officially leave the National Guard Hall. No matter what happens, it is my business alone. It has nothing to do with the National Guard Hall and the Star Cloud Royal Family. Hearing this, Luoqing and the others finally sighed in relief. No matter what, even if the Thunder Royal Family and the 3 major families found trouble with Longao, it wouldn't involve the Star Cloud Royal Family and the National Guard Hall. However, at this time, Ouyang Fei said, Brother Long, although you are no longer the National Guard Hall's National Guard Master, you are still my big brother. No matter what happens, the Star Cloud Kingdom and I will support you. Prince Ouyang, you? Yue was shocked. He didn't expect Ouyang Fei to suddenly act like this. Chapter 89. The Nebula Protector Hall belonged to the Nebula Royal Family. Luoqing and the rest forced Longao to leave the Protector Hall because they did not want to cause trouble for the Protector Hall and the Nebula Royal Family. But now, Ouyang Fei was obviously biased towards Longao. If that was the case, what was the point of Longao leaving the Protector Hall? Once the Thunder Royal Family and the 3 major families came to cause trouble, it would not only implicate the Nebula Royal Family but also the Protector Hall. Yue, Deputy Hall Master Luo, I have made up my mind. No matter what happens to Longao, I will support him. Ouyang Fei's attitude was clear. As the Crown Prince of the Nebula Kingdom, even Luoqing and the rest could not do anything now that the Emperor was not present. Seeing the situation, Longao suddenly smiled and said, Brother Ouyang, with a brother like you, everything is worth it. From now on, not only will I leave the Protector Hall, but I will also leave the Nebula Royal Family. Without giving Ouyang Fei any chance to speak, Longao continued, Brother Ouyang, I would like to ask you for a favor. Ouyang Fei sighed deeply. How could he not know Longao's character? He nodded and asked, Brother Long, what's the matter? I hope Brother Ouyang can help me take care of the Long family. Brother Long, don't worry. As long as I, Ouyang Fei, am here, nothing will happen to the Long family. Thank you. I will repay this kindness in the future. After saying that, Longao turned and left. Soon, he disappeared from the nebula relay station. Looking at the figure that had already left, Yu Wei and the others sneered in their hearts. They had completely removed the thorn in their side. In the end, Yu Wei and the others, including Luo Qing, were still filled with envy, jealousy, and hatred towards Longao. Crown Prince Ouyang, the Thunder battle will officially start in 10 days. The Thunder royal family has just sent a message for you to go to them. Nodding, Ouyang Fei was extremely unhappy about Longao's matter. He turned and left quickly. Hall Master Luo, aren't we going a bit too far by doing this? Among the 9 people, Hao Chao was the most upright person. He didn't want to deal with Longao just because he was defeated by Longao. Compared to Yu Wei, Hao Chao was very noble. Luo Qing waved his hand. No one knew what expression he had on his face. He said indifferently, "Everything is for the National Guard Hall and the Nebula royal family. Brother Hao, Longao only has himself to blame for this. He can't blame anyone else." Hao Chao looked down on Yu Wei in his heart. He glared at Yu Wei and chased after him. "Brother Long, wait for me." Seeing Hao Chao chasing after him, Longao was very puzzled. He asked, "Brother Hao, what's the matter?" Toward Hao Chao, this person, Longao still had a favorable impression. "Brother Long, you were too reckless this time." Luo Qing and the others are obviously forcing you to leave the National Guard Hall. If you leave the National Guard Hall now, what will you do if the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans find trouble with you? There's no point in staying in such a National Guard Hall. Although that's the case, Brother Long, have you thought about your family? This time, you provoked the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans and left the National Guard Hall. If the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans target your family, what will you do? I believe that Brother Ouyang will help me take care of my family. Longao had full confidence in Ouyang Fei. Moreover, Ouyang Fei had just promised him. However, Hao Chao did not think so. He said in a serious tone, "Brother Long, it's not that I don't believe in Prince Ouyang, but the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans are too powerful. Once they are determined to deal with your family, can Ouyang Fei stop them? At that time, even the Nebula Kingdom may not dare to stop them." Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could understand the meaning of Hao Chao's words. Before this, he had indeed not thought about this. Now that he thought about it, it was just as Hao Chao said. Once the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans target his family, could Ouyang Fei stop them alone? Although Ouyang Fei was the crown prince of the Nebula Kingdom and could indeed show off in the Nebula Kingdom, what about in front of the Thunder Imperial family? Brother Hao, actually, you and I both know that even if I don't leave the National Guard Hall, I can't deal with the Thunder Imperial family. Moreover, the National Guard Hall can't tolerate me at all. Why should I deceive myself? After a deep sigh, Hao Chao said, "Brother Long, to tell you the truth, you are the person I admire the most. I also believe that you will definitely be able to rise to the top in the future." Longao did not say anything and only smiled. "Brother Long, I came to you this time because I thought of a way. Maybe it can help you." "Brother Hao, what way?" After thinking for a while, Hao Chao said, "Brother Long, the only way now is for you to continue participating in the Thunder battle. As long as you can achieve something in the Thunder battle, I believe the Thunder Imperial family will definitely value you. When the time comes." Hao Chao did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could understand, but he said, "Brother Hao, I have already left the National Guard Hall. Can I still participate in the Thunder battle?" The Thunder battle was a great battle held by the Thunder Empire. 32 kingdoms and the Thunder Empire would participate together. Brother Long, you can rest assured about this. The Thunder battle was originally stipulated by the Thunder Empire. Apart from the Thunder Empire and the 32 Kingdoms, as long as you belong to the 32 Kingdoms or the Thunder Empire, you can participate. However, the prerequisite is that your cultivation must reach the one-line sky realm. So that's how it is. Brother Hal, thank you. 10 days later, I will participate in the Thunder Battle. Brother Long, you must be careful of Yu Wei and the others. When you participate in the Thunder Battle, I will stand on your side and help you. Nodding his head, Longao didn't continue to say anything. Everything was in silence. He was such a person. If someone helped him, he would return the favor twofold. On the other hand, if someone deliberately looked for trouble, he would take revenge. Looking at Longao, who had already left, Hao Chao smiled and said, "What a confident young man. I am really looking forward to your growth. National Guard Hall, you will regret your actions today." After leaving the Star Cloud Relay Station, Longao first found an inn and waited for the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans to come looking for trouble. Thinking about it, Longao also felt a little helpless. He had just entered Thunder City and had provoked the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 great clans in less than 2 days. Perhaps he could be considered an unprecedented person. After the Jiang family, the Long family, and the Duanwu family received the news that Longao had provoked the 3rd prince, they all quieted down and waited for the 3rd prince to find trouble with this person. No matter what, in Thunder City, the Thunder Imperial family was the absolute overlord. Chapter 90. The next day, early morning. Outside the inn, Longao stretched his body. As soon as he stepped out of the inn, he saw 4 figures approaching from afar. 2 of them were the 3rd Prince Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun. As for the remaining 2 people, Longao sensed a little and sensed that the 2 were one-line sky martial artists. The Thunder Empire was the absolute overlord of the 32 kingdoms. The strength of the Thunder Empire was there for all to see. 2 one-line sky martial artists were nothing to the Thunder Imperial family. Longao, I have to admire you. You actually left the Nebula Protector Hall. But that's fine. I'll let you know the consequences of provoking the 3rd prince. Longao wasn't surprised that the 3rd Prince Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun already knew that he had left the Protector Hall. After all, with their strength in Thunder City, it would be easy for them to find out about him. Longao, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit and kneel down to admit your mistakes. Perhaps I'll let you go. Otherwise, not only you, but even your family will suffer. Hearing Zhao Hao's words, Longao's body suddenly emitted a terrifying murderous aura. Family was something that Longao couldn't touch. No matter who it was, even if it was the Thunder Empire's crown prince. Zhao Hao, you're courting death. Ha ha ha, Longao, you dare to threaten the 3rd prince. Who do you think you are? I'll tell you clearly now. Kneel down and hand over the 1,000-year Thunder Fruit. Otherwise, your family will pay the price. Jiang Jun's face was full of contempt. He continued, Longao, don't think that the rank for Long family will help you. Let me tell you, in front of the Thunder Empire, you're nothing, including your family. Clenching his fists, Longao's face was gloomy. At this moment, his body was filled with murderous aura. At this moment, Longao finally understood what Hao Chao said. Whether it was Ouyang Fei or the Nebula Kingdom, they were insignificant in front of the Thunder Empire. Even if Ouyang Fei wanted to help him, he was powerless. It was precisely because of this that Longao deeply realized that his strength was still far from enough. Longao knew that when his family wasn't fully protected, he would always have his hands tied. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun sneered. Zhao Hao said, Longao, I know you are not convinced, but let me give you a piece of advice. A wise man submits to circumstances. Shut up and die. Horrifying killing intent covered the sky and covered the earth. Longao's figure had already moved. Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao were shocked, because the 2 of them had never imagined that the other party would suddenly make a move. The 2 one-line sky martial artists behind them also followed. With two one-line sky martial artists joining forces, under normal circumstances, it was impossible for Longao to be a match for the other party. But the current situation was completely different. Longao's palms moved, using the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, heart-devouring ice, and even the soul-subduing seal. It was obvious that Longao was going for the kill. Kacha. Longao's speed was too fast. The two Xiantian martial artists didn't even have the chance to react before they were directly killed by Longao's palm. Seeing the two one-line sky martial artists killed in a single move, both Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao were shocked. How could they dare to stay any longer? They turned around and prepared to leave. But would Longao let them go? Brother Long, forget it. Longao, who already had the intention to kill, was forcibly stopped by Lu Feng. He could only watch as the two left, disappearing into the crowd. The surrounding onlookers were all excited when they saw the sorry state of Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao. There were even some people who were constantly clapping and cheering. This was the result of the pests. Brother Lu. Brother Long, come with me. Looking at Lu Feng in front of him, Longao was incomparably shocked. He could clearly sense that Lu Feng's strength was far beyond his own. It wasn't an evolution at all, nor was it even a fusion. Could it be that he was a unification expert? Longao had an intuition that if he were to face Lu Feng, he would have no chance of winning. This was the biggest difference between the realms. In the auction house. Brother Long, you are too reckless. Provoking Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun is not a wise move. Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for the family behind you. Nodding, Longao also knew that he was indeed a little impulsive. If he were to kill Jiang Jun and Zhao Hao, the consequences would be unimaginable. Big Brother Lu, Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun threaten my family. If I don't kill them, who knows if they will do something to my family? Brother Long, I know you are worried. You are now separated from the Nebula Protector Hall. Once the Thunder Imperial family and the 3 major families deal with you or your family, you will be too far away. Although Lu Feng did not finish his words, the meaning in his words was very clear. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he understood. After thinking for a while, he asked, Brother Lu, do you have a way? Nodding, Lu Feng said, Brother Long, I am already embarrassed to talk about this matter. But the situation has already reached this point. For now, there is only one way, and that is for you to join the auction house. With the deterrence of my auction house, I believe that even the Thunder Imperial family will not dare to deal with you and your family easily. Join the auction house? With the precedent of the National Protector Hall, Longao was really unwilling to join the auction house. Even if the Thunder Imperial family was afraid of the auction house now, what about in the future? If he were to meet other forces or the Thunder Imperial family who insisted on dealing with him, would the auction house still support him? The answer was definitely no. Because of this, Longao did not even think about it and said, Brother Lu, to tell you the truth, from now on, I will not join any forces. I hope Brother Lu can understand. However, I will not forget Brother Lu's kindness. As if he had already guessed it, Lu Feng smiled and said, Brother Long, don't worry. Even if you don't join the auction house, I promise you here that I will protect the Long family. Even if it is the Thunder Imperial family, I will not let the Long family lose a single hair. Hearing this, Longao said gratefully, Thank you, Brother Lu. With the help of Lu Feng in the auction house, Longao could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He wasn't worried about himself now, but his family. Once Zhao Hao and Jiang Jun went crazy and attacked his family, the consequences would be unimaginable. After chatting with Lu Feng for a while, Longao left the auction house. But at this time, a young man who looked like a servant walked over and said, You are Longao? Chapter 91. Yes. Do you need something? Someone told me to give you this letter. Longao didn't even have time to ask before the other party turned and left. This again? Longao opened the letter and gave it a cursory glance. His face was expressionless as he tore the letter apart. Smiling helplessly, he walked away. The auction house was very powerful in Thunder City because it had branches all over the Martial Sky continent. Because of this, even the Thunder Imperial family was wary of the auction house. The auction house's Lu Feng personally went to the Thunder Imperial family. Under heavy pressure, the third prince gave up on dealing with the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. However, he swore that he wouldn't let Longao off. 10 days later, the Thunder battle held by the Thunder Empire officially began. The 320 Imperial protectors from the 32 kingdoms, the Thunder Empire Protector Hall, and a few scattered Xiantian experts made up a total of 400 people. What kind of concept was this? The so-called Battle of Thunder was equivalent to a total of 400 Xiantian martial artists. Half of them had reached the evolution boundary, and the remaining half were one-line sky martial artists. As for the 100 scatter sky martial artists, they did not have the qualifications to participate in the Battle of Thunder. Longao had decided to represent himself and his family to participate in the Thunder battle. The Star Cloud Protector Hall was very dissatisfied with this, but they didn't say anything. When the news of Longao leaving the Star Cloud Protector Hall reached the Star Cloud Kingdom, Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng didn't say anything. Longao already knew that the Star Cloud Kingdom had given up on him. There was nothing wrong with putting one's own safety before others. Because of this, Longao didn't have the slightest complaint. The only thing he was worried about was his family. Outside the Thunder Forest, all the people from the 32 kingdoms and the Thunder Empire had entered the Thunder Forest. As for the rules of the Thunder battle, it was very simple. They had to kill their opponents and obtain their spirit tokens. The 32 kingdoms, the Thunder Empire, and the scattered Xiantian experts all had a spirit token. At the end of the Thunder battle, they would be ranked according to the number of spirit tokens they had. The Thunder battle would last for 10 days. After 10 days, everyone, regardless of life or death, would gather outside the Thunder Forest. Every year, besides the Imperial Protectors of the Thunder Empire and the 32 Kingdoms, there were also many scattered warriors who participated in the Battle of Thunder, all for the sake of making a name for themselves. Especially if he entered the top 10 of the Thunder battle, his name would instantly shake the world. Longao knew very well that he was no longer the Imperial Protector of the Nebula National Guard Hall. He was alone. Therefore, he had to be on guard at all times in this Thunder battle. He had to be extremely alert. Just as he stepped into the Thunder Forest, Longao ran into some old acquaintances, the 9 people from Star Cloud Kingdom. This time, because of his departure, Star Cloud Kingdom, which originally had 10 people participating, could only send 9. Longao, you are really arrogant. You dare to participate in the Thunder battle alone? I advise you to leave. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. Yue's face was filled with disdain as he continued speaking in a strange tone. Oh right, I almost forgot. Some people are not afraid of death and think that they are invincible. Yue, you are too much. Brother Hao, I know that you have a good relationship with Longao, but that is that. Longao almost caused our Nebula National Guard Hall to suffer. Just for this, he should apologize to us. Even if he kneels down, it wouldn't be too much. Hao Chao seemed to want to say something, but Longao waved his hand and sneered. He didn't say anything and just looked at Yue coldly. For some unknown reason, Yue shuddered at the thought of that. Longao. Yue, you're usually handsome and charming. Everyone loves you and flowers bloom when they see you. But from what I see now, you're just AF** king beast among scumbags, a scumbag among beasts. Longao, you dare to scold me? With a sneer, Longao said with a contemptuous smile. Who do you think you are? I have already said that if you dare to provoke me again in the future, no matter who is protecting you, I will kill you without mercy. All of this is what you asked for. You can't blame others. Hearing this, Yue was shocked. He knew his opponent's character the best. If Longao really went crazy, he wouldn't be able to resist. However, Yue wasn't worried. In any case, he still had the National Guard Hall's Deputy Hall Master, Luo Qing, who was a fusion expert. Could his opponent defeat Luo Qing? The Battle of Thunder clearly stated that regardless of whether it was the 32 Kingdoms or the Thunder Empire, they could only send one fusion expert. In this way, there would not be more than 30 fusion experts entering the Thunder Forest, including the scattered fusion experts. After all, among the 32 kingdoms, not every kingdom had a fusion expert. Longao, I don't believe that you dare to kill me here. Ha ha ha, Yue, Longao, swear that if I don't kill you, I am not a human. Longao, you are too presumptuous. Luo Qing, who had been silent all this time, said with a gloomy face. As the National Guard Hall's Deputy Hall Master and a fusion expert, Yue didn't put him in his eyes at all. Luo Qing, do you mean to side with Yue? In any case, Longao had entered the National Guard Hall before and Ouyang Fei had treated him well. It was precisely because of this that unless it was a last resort, Longao didn't want to fall out with the National Guard Hall. Although he didn't want to fall out with the National Guard Hall, it didn't mean that he could tolerate the National Guard Hall. Especially now, Yue must die. If the National Guard Hall insisted on siding with Yue, he could only face them head-on. Longao, for the sake of you and Prince Ouyang, and the Hall Master's good to you, I advise you to stop while you are ahead. Don't be too presumptuous in everything. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Seeing that Luo Qing was really angry, Hao Chao hurriedly came out to smooth things over and said, Deputy Hall Master Longao, no matter what, we are a family. The most important thing now is to fight, not to engage in internal strife. Humph, Hao Chao, let me ask you now, are you still a member of the National Guard Hall? Yes. Hao Chao was aware of Yue's shamelessness. He despised him fiercely in his heart but didn't show his anger. No matter what, he was still a member of the National Guard Hall and there was a Deputy Hall Master in front of him. Again coldly snorting, Hao Chao said in a strange tone, I thought you were no longer a member of the National Guard Hall. Now Longao openly despises the National Guard Hall. If we let this person go today, where will our Nebula National Guard Hall's face go? Yue's intention was very clear, that was, to incite everyone to deal with Longao. Ha! Suddenly, Longao burst into laughter. Just when everyone was puzzled, Longao's body suddenly moved. Yue, today I will kill you! Whoever blocks me will die! Shocked, Yue certainly wouldn't choose to confront Longao head-on. He hurriedly hid behind Luo Qing, but the corner of his mouth raised a sneer. Chapter 92. Longao had already made up his mind to kill Yu Qing, regardless of the consequences. Impudent! Luo Qing was furious. He never thought that the other party would actually kill Yue in front of him. Wasn't Longao looking down on him? As a fusion expert, Luo Qing's strength could be imagined, but Longao simply wouldn't choose to meet force with force with force. Although Longao had full confidence in his own strength, he knew his own limits. It was precisely because of this that Longao held the blood-sucking wild saber in his hand and used the yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes and icebound heart-devouring to attack Yue directly. Now, Longao was no longer the State Protector of the State Protector Hall, so other than Hao Chao, everyone moved. 1 against 8. If it was really 1 against 8, Longao definitely wouldn't be a match for the 8 of them. But Longao only had one goal, and that was to kill Yue, so he simply wouldn't choose to meet force with force with force with the 8 of them. Soul-subduing seal, the first seal of the destruction seal. Without any sound, Longao continuously used 8 soul-subduing seals. Whether it was Yue's group of 7 or Luo Qing, their faces instantly changed. They immediately mobilized all the strength in their body to resist this strange and mysterious power. Soul-subduing seal, aside from being powerful, was even more powerful in that it was silent and could even erode the soul. It was precisely because of this that even Luo Qing was careless and had his soul eroded by the soul-subduing seal. The consequences were unimaginable. Such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, how could Longao easily give it up? The blood-devouring blade in his hand fiercely chopped down at Yue. The shocking blade light was like a bolt of lightning, and no one could resist it because at this moment, Luo Qing and the others were using all their strength to resist the strange power that was eroding their soul. Longao, you can't kill me! Longao, if you dare to kill me, my big brother will definitely not let you go, ah! Longao completely ignored Yue. A shocking saber light instantly slashed out, directly severing Yue's saber. Gotcha! Even in a situation where 7 great experts and Luo Qing were present, Yue was still killed. Looking at everything that happened in front of him, Hao Chao seemed to be a little dumbfounded. Both of his eyes stared at Longao, because until now, Hao Chao did not dare to imagine that Longao could kill Yue under the cooperation of 8 experts. After killing Yue, Longao did not continue to attack. According to this situation, as long as Longao wanted to, he could kill the others at any time. This was the power of the soul-suppressing seal. By the time everyone had gotten rid of the strange energy in their bodies, all that was left of Yue was a corpse. The faces of Luo Qing and the others were as ugly as they could be. They were extremely gloomy. Longao had killed Yue right under his nose. Did Longao even put him in his eyes? Longao, you have gone too far. Luo Qing, I have said it before. If Yue dares to provoke me again, I will kill him without mercy. He is the one who is looking for death. What does it have to do with me? Luo Qing, the bully will be bullied. I hope you know what to do. Too lazy to continue talking to the other party, Longao turned and left. Hall Master Luo, are we just going to let it go like this? Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jianjun, Yi Rong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan still had lingering fear at this moment because the strange energy that had just eroded them was really terrifying. Once Longao took advantage of it, the consequences would be unimaginable. But even so, do they really want to let Longao go? These people were not fools. According to Longao's talent and potential, as well as his current strength, if he was given time to develop, who could stop him in a few years? Waving his hand, Luo Qing did not want to let Longao go, but he was not a fool. He knew in his heart that it was not easy to keep Longao. He was afraid that the National Guard Hall would have to pay a high price. Hao Chao, why didn't you take action when dealing with Longao just now? Luo Qing pointed his finger at Hao Chao because among the 9 people, only Hao Chao did not take action against Longao. What did this mean? Hearing Luo Qing's words, the other 7 people all looked at Hao Chao. Their eyes were cold, and their faces were full of murderous intent. With a cold snort, Hao Chao, as the 4th person in the National Guard Hall and a peak evolution martial artist, was not afraid of the crowd at all. He snorted coldly. Hall Master Luo, you know me well. I will say what I want to say. Longao has been pushed out of the National Guard Hall by you, but what about you? Without giving anyone a chance to speak, Hao Chao continued. Yue was defeated by Brother Long, and he kept looking for trouble. Not to mention Brother Long, even if I encountered this matter, I would kill Yue. No matter what you do, I won't do that. Be kind. Hearing Hao Chao's words, everyone was speechless because what Hao Chao said was true. They had no chance to refute. Although they knew what Hao Chao said was right, when they thought about how Longao killed Yue in front of them, they felt a kind of anger that had nowhere to vent. Heavily snorting, Tong Bo said angrily, Brother Hao, what you said is wrong. No matter what, Longao is no longer a member of the National Guard Hall, but Yue is. Longao killed Yue in front of us. He did not put us in his eyes at all. I want to ask you, are you still a member of the National Guard Hall? Hao Chao knew what Tong Bo meant. He sneered and said, Tong Bo, you don't need to trick me. I won't fall for it. If you want, I can also leave the National Guard Hall. Hao Chao, you said it yourself? We did not force you. At this point, Luo Qing also knew that Hao Chao must be eliminated. Otherwise, Hao Chao would become a big problem for him. In fact, there were also factions in the Nebula National Guard Hall. Luo Qing, as the Vice Hall Master of the Nebula National Guard Hall, naturally wanted to be the Hall Master. However, because of Tang Lin, he had not been able to achieve it for so many years. Because of this, Luo Qing had been trying to develop his own force for so many years. This time, the 7 people he brought were all his men, including Yu Wei. That was why Luo Qing was so angry when Yu Wei was killed by Longao. Not for one's own use, cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Well, in this case, there is no point for me to continue to stay here. From now on, I, Hao Chao, officially leave the National Guard Hall. Goodbye. Wait, Hao Chao, you are no longer a member of the National Guard Hall. That means we are enemies. Hand over the spirit token in your hand. Considering that we have been together for so many years, we can let you go. Hao Chao despised Luo Qing and the others in his heart. How could he not know what Luo Qing meant? Yu Wei's spirit token had been taken away by Longao. Now that he had left the National Guard Hall, he believed that Luo Qing would not let him go. However, could he hand over the spirit token? If he lost the spirit token, even if he could seize all the spirit tokens, he would still not be able to be ranked. Chapter 93. Because of this, Hao Chao certainly wouldn't hand over his soul order. Goodbye. You want to leave? Not so easy. Mao Feng, Tong Bo, Hao Jiangjun, Yirong, Lin Yi, and Wang Huan, the 6 evolved experts quickly attacked, surrounding Hao Chao with murderous intent. Hao Chao's face was also a little ugly. After all, in a 1 versus 7 situation, the consequences could be imagined. Kill! With a roar, the 6 people rushed forward frantically. In a blink of an eye, the 7 people had already engaged in a fierce battle, and Luo Qing was on the periphery. In other words, Hao Chao would definitely die now. After all, in addition to the 6 people, there was still a fusion master. Could Hao Chao escape from Luo Qing's hands smoothly? Brother Hao, let me help you! A shocking saber light slashed down instantly. Longao held the blood-sucking saber and had joined the battle. Longao's strength could be imagined. Coupled with Hao Chao, the 2 of them were almost at a disadvantage against the 6 people. Instead, they had the upper hand. Regarding this, the 6 people were taken aback. They didn't dare to be careless and attacked with all their strength. Presumptuous! Luo Qing roared. If the 2 of them were to escape this time, where would his face be? It was precisely because of this that Luo Qing did not care about his identity as the Vice Hall Master and instantly joined the battle. However, Longao and Hao Chao fiercely forced the 6 of them to retreat and quickly turned around to leave. Hall Master Luo, what should we do now? Waving his hand, Luo Qing's face was gloomy. Humph, I don't believe that they can leave the Thunder Forest alive. Our top priority now is to seize the Soul Order. As for the 2 of them, it's not too late to deal with them later. Longao and Hao Chao ran all the way and stopped when they found that Luo Qing and others didn't catch up. Brother Long, thank you very much this time. If you didn't help in time, I'm afraid I would have been torn apart by them. With a smile, Longao said, Brother Hao, you're welcome. You left the National Guard Hall for me, but Luo Qing will definitely not let this go. You still have to be more careful. Brother Long, you're not coming with me? I like to be alone. Good brother, once you have trouble, I will rush over as soon as possible. Goodbye. Longao did not continue to talk and turned away. Outside a secluded valley. The moment Longao stepped into the valley, he felt a horrifying stench of blood. It filled the air and was exceptionally pungent. Not good. Longao was also shocked when he saw the huge blood-colored huge python that had suddenly appeared in the valley. The huge blood python had a total of 9 heads. Each head had a pair of icy green eyes that emitted a cold glow. 9-headed blood python was a natural spirit beast. Longao knew very well that the strength of the 9-headed blood python in front of him was definitely above Luo Cheng's. In other words, it was above the fusion stage. With his strength, would he be a match for the 9-headed blood python? Because of this, Longao turned around and prepared to leave. But could he leave? Roar! The 9 heads of the 9-headed blood python moved together and began to attack Longao crazily. He did not dare to be careless. The blood-drinking broadsword in his hand instantly slashed out. The 9 consecutive strikes of the underworld and the heart-devouring icebound, together with the soul-suppressing seal, smashed towards the 9-headed blood python fiercely. The defensive power of the 9-headed blood python was too strong. Longao's body was swept by the python's tail and instantly flew backwards. Plop! His body fell heavily on the ground, and he spat out blood. He was shocked. The strength of the 9-headed blood python was not something that he could resist. Longao directly used the dragon seal and smashed it towards the 9-headed blood python fiercely. The originally small dragon seal instantly became bigger as it was smashed out. He did not know if it was Long Fu's trick. The dragon seal smashed onto the 9-headed blood python fiercely, not giving it any chance at all. It directly smashed the 9-headed blood python to the ground. Looking at the 9-headed blood python that was smashed to death, Longao was completely dumbfounded. Although he knew that the dragon seal was not simple, he did not expect that such a strong 9-headed blood python would be smashed to death by the dragon seal. Master, the dragon seal is the nemesis of the 9-headed blood python. If it were other spiritual beasts, I would not be able to do anything. However, the 9-headed blood python is very strong. Once you refine it, it will be enough for you to make a breakthrough. Hearing this, Longao was delighted. His desolate saint physique had always been his sore point. The strongest physique was also the most useless physique. If he wanted to make a breakthrough, he would need a huge amount of strength. Now, the 9-headed blood python was a good opportunity. Longao did not hesitate. He immediately sat down cross-legged and circulated the 9-cycle reincarnation technique in his body. As Long Fu said, the dragon seal was the nemesis of the 9-headed blood python. It was extremely easy to refine it. In fact, Longao originally wanted to let Long Fu refine the 9-headed blood python into a soul slave. According to the strength of the 9-headed blood python, once it was refined into a soul slave, its strength would be very strong. Even if he encountered Luo Cheng, he believed that he would not have to be afraid. However, after thinking about it, Longao still decided to refine it. He wanted to increase his strength first. With the power of the 9-headed blood python being refined, the mysterious heavenly 9 changes had reached the 9th change in an instant. He was only one step away from officially breaking through the first cycle of the 9-cycle reincarnation technique. However, this one step was like an insurmountable gap that could not be crossed. Feeling a huge amount of power continuously flowing into his body, Longao was delighted. He did not give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He immediately used this power to evolve the 108 acupuncture points in his body. He had to admit that the soul of the 9-headed blood python was indeed very strong. After being refined, it was like a water column that crazily flowed into Longao's body. In just half an hour, the 108 acupuncture points in Longao's body were completely filled with this powerful power. In addition to the power that had already been condensed, at this moment, a loud sound came from Longao's body. He had officially broken through from the one-line sky realm to the evolution realm. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that if it was not for the 9-headed blood python, he would have needed a long time and a lot of power to break through from the one-line sky realm to the evolution realm. Although his cultivation had successfully broken through to the evolution realm, Longao did not stop there. This was because Long Fu had refined the 9-headed blood python, and obtained 1/3 of its power. Taking advantage of this huge power, he might be able to break through to the fusion realm in one fell swoop. In the fusion realm, fusing the power into the spiritual power. It seemed simple, but it was actually very difficult. A huge amount of power crazily flowed into Longao's body. The evolution realm, which was about to break through to the evolution realm, increased at an incomparably fast speed. It only stopped when it reached the peak evolution realm. Peak evolution realm. He was pleasantly surprised. Although he did not reach the fusion realm as he had expected, breaking through to the peak evolution realm was definitely a very good thing. At this moment, Longao was full of confidence. According to his current strength, even if he encountered Luo Qing, he would definitely be able to fight. Chapter 94. Longao heaved a sigh of relief as his cultivation base broke through to evolving pinnacle. At the end of the day, Longao did not have full confidence in entering the Thunderbolt Forest and participating in the Thunderbolt battle. No matter what, out of the 400-odd martial artists participating in the Thunderbolt battle, more than half of them had already reached evolving pinnacle state. In fact, more than 30 of them had even broken through fusion state. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Just then, Longao heard squeaking noises coming from his embrace. Curious, he took the little fella out of his embrace and stroked it gently. This little fella had obtained a total of 2 dragon eggs from the Dragon Valley. One of the dragon eggs was obtained by Longming, while the other dragon egg was in the hands of Longao. No matter who it was, when they saw the little fellow, they would not think that the little fellow would be a small dragon. It was completely a small snake. However, Longao was very clear that the little fellow that he had obtained was a mutated dragon. Little fella, what's wrong? Squeak, squeak, squeak. Hearing the little fella squeaking nonstop, Longao was completely frustrated. He did not know what the little fella was trying to say. Master, I can understand what the little fella is trying to say. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao's heart leaped with joy. Immediately, he asked, Long Fu, what's wrong with the little fella? Hearing these words, Long Fu seemed to be surprised. Master, you and the little fella are really fated. Just like you, he belongs to the desolate physique. If he wants to evolve, he would need a huge amount of energy. What the little fella is trying to say is simple. He needs energy to evolve. Desolate physique? The little fella had the desolate physique as well? Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was shocked. He was not unfamiliar with the desolate physique at all. The desolate physique was hailed as the #1 godly physique. But at the same time, it was also the #1 trash physique. The reason was simple. To possess the desolate physique, one would need a huge amount of energy to support it. Otherwise, it would be hard for one's cultivation base to improve. Longao looked at Little Rascal with a dejected expression. It was hard for him to imagine how much energy Little Rascal had to use to evolve. Little Rascal also had a desolate physique, and he also had a desolate physique. Master, this little fella that you have obtained is extraordinary. It is a mutated colossal dragon. Once it grows up, it will become a powerful being. Therefore, Master, I will help you and help this little fella evolve continuously. With Long Fu's help, Longao could finally breathe a sigh of relief. That was because within the Dragon Seal space, there was a mysterious blood pool that could refine souls and transform them into energy for him. Taking a deep look at the little fellow in his arms, Longao said with a doting smile, From now on, you will follow me. You are my family. I will now give you a name. You will follow my surname. From now on, you will be called Long Chang. I hope you can become stronger in the future. As if it could hear Longao's words, the little guy couldn't stop giggling. He was very satisfied with his name. From now on, I will call you Xiao Chang. Xiao Chang, smile for your brother. Ji. 2 hours later, Longao left the valley. This time, he had killed the 9-headed blood python and devoured spiritual energy to increase his cultivation, breaking through to the peak evolution realm. This was something that Longao never expected. In the following days, Longao hunted others everywhere and seized soul tokens. This was because Longao clearly knew that in the Thunder battle, there were no friends, only enemies. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. It was precisely because of this that Longao didn't have the slightest bit of mercy. No matter who it was, as long as there was an opportunity, he would immediately attack without mercy. After breaking through to the evolution realm, not to mention one-line sky martial artists and evolution realm martial artists, even if he encountered a fusion martial artist, Longao would still have the strength to fight. However, unless it was a last resort, Longao wasn't willing to face a fusion martial artist. After killing 3 one-line sky martial artists and obtaining 3 soul tokens, Longao was preparing to continue looking for other prey. At this time, a burst of fighting sounds came from not far away, and wild auras scattered in all directions. Out of curiosity, Longao shot towards the direction of the fighting sounds. After a while, he saw a beautiful girl being besieged by more than 20 flaming tigers. Scarlet flaming tigers were sentient spiritual beasts. Their strength was equivalent to a fusion martial artist. More than 20 scarlet flaming tigers meant more than 20 fusion martial artists. Seeing the beautiful girl being besieged by more than 20 scarlet flaming tigers, Longao was shocked. Without a doubt, the beautiful girl was 100% a fusion martial artist. Just looking, Longao didn't intend to help because there was a thunder battle going on in the Thunder Forest. Who knew who the other party was? He didn't want to treat his good intentions as ill intent. However, even though Longao didn't want to help, someone was forcing him to. Unknowingly, a scarlet flaming tiger had appeared behind Longao. With the strength of a fusion martial artist, its body emitted a cold aura. Its eyes coldly stared at Longao, and it approached step by step, ready to attack at any time. F***ck. Longao cursed fiercely. Things had already come to this point, and he had no other choice. He didn't fight with the scarlet flaming tiger in front of him. Instead, he turned and shot towards the beautiful girl. Before he arrived, his terrifying aura arrived first. Longao was not a fool, and he also knew his limits. With his strength, not to mention facing more than 20 scarlet flaming tigers at the same time, even if 2 scarlet flaming tigers joined forces, it would be extremely difficult for him to deal with them. Precisely because of this, Longao knew that if he wanted to leave smoothly, he had to end the battle quickly. Once he delayed, the consequences would be unimaginable. Soul-suppressing seal. Longao used more than 20 soul-suppressing seals at the same time, silently invading the bodies of the scarlet flaming tigers. Firstly, the scarlet flaming tigers were attacking the beautiful girl with all their strength, and their attention was not on Longao. Secondly, the scarlet flaming tigers didn't even put Longao in their eyes. A mere evolved martial artist human, in the eyes of more than 20 scarlet flaming tigers, was nothing. Due to their carelessness, the 20 scarlet flaming tigers that were attacking the beautiful girl with all their strength suddenly had a change in expression. They immediately used all their strength to resist the mysterious power in their bodies. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As long as Longao wanted to, he could leave at any time, but Longao didn't choose to leave. "Are you crazy? Hurry up and leave with me." Hearing the beautiful girl's words, Longao staggered and almost fell. However, the current situation didn't allow him to be careless. The dragon seal appeared in his hand, and he directly smashed it towards the scarlet flaming tigers. Kacha kacha. The dragon seal didn't succeed in killing the scarlet flaming tigers, and at this time, Longao's body also rushed out. He arrived in front of a scarlet flaming tiger, and quickly sent out a palm. Yellow springs 9 consecutive strikes. 9 fist energies continuously overlapped, and in an instant, the fist energies smashed onto the scarlet flaming tiger's head. Chapter 95. The Scarlet Flame Tiger was first silently invaded by the soul-suppressing seal, then Longao's palm landed on the top of its head. Under these two attacks, its body fiercely fell to the ground. He immediately rejoiced in his heart. Longao immediately threw out the dragon seal and absorbed the Scarlet Flame Tiger's soul into the dragon seal's space. Longao had already calculated the time accurately. In a few seconds he had killed 3 Scarlet Flame Tigers and obtained the souls of the 3 Scarlet Flame Tigers. Let's go. The remaining Scarlet Flame Tigers had already eliminated the energy corrosion in their bodies. Each of them stared with cold eyes and directly chased after them. Longao and the girl madly ran for half an hour. After discovering that they had completely shaken off the Scarlet Flame Tigers, the two of them let out a sigh of relief and sat down on the ground. At this moment, Longao carefully sized up the girl beside him. Coldly snorting, the girl fiercely glared and angrily said, "What are you looking at, stinking rogue?" "Stinking rogue? I've become a stinking rogue?" Being scolded by the other party, Longao's face instantly turned cold and said, "Are you sick? I just saved you. It's fine if you don't even say thank you, but you actually scolded me as a stinking rogue. Is there something wrong with your head?" If it was an ordinary man, seeing such a beautiful young girl's appearance, he would have long been charmed to the point of losing his spirit. However, Longao's heart was completely filled with Yuin. Therefore, he did not have the slightest intention of being moved by any woman. "You dare scold me? What did you just scold me for? If you have the ability, try scolding me again." Longao's temper was not very good. He had risked his life to save the other party. It was fine if the other party did not thank him, but now, she actually turned the tables on him. "I just said that you're sick, that there's something wrong with your head. I'm really F***ing annoyed to save you. Goodbye. Want to leave?" Coldly snorting, the beautiful girl had already scurried away. Before she arrived, a terrifying killing intent had already arrived. Startled, Longao had just stood up when he was attacked by his opponent. He countered with a punch, Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. In an instant, 9 fist energies overlapped. Palm and fist collided. Before Longao could react, he was already pushed back by his opponent. Longao was shocked. He never thought that the other party would be so strong. Longao was confident that even if he encountered a fusion martial artist, he would be able to fight and even kill the other party with the help of the soul-suppressing seal. But at this moment, Longao had a feeling that the other party's strength seemed to have reached the peak of the fusion stage. Unless the soul-suppressing seal silently invaded the other party's body, it was almost impossible to kill the other party. Soul-suppressing seal. Longao didn't use the soul-suppressing seal. No matter what, the other party was still a girl, and she didn't do anything wrong. If he really killed the other party, he would feel bad in his heart. "I won't haggle with you. Sick women have bad tempers." Hearing this, the beautiful girl's face turned red. She roared and chased after him. The two of them ran one after the other. Longao never thought that things would turn out like this. He originally wanted to save someone, but what about now? The person he saved turned around and chased after him. If he couldn't win, he would run. Longao didn't use the soul-suppressing seal. There seemed to be no other way except to run. Inside the Thunder Forest. "Look, a fusion martial artist chasing an evolution martial artist. This person is really unlucky. We'd better not intervene. A fusion martial artist is too terrifying." Longao and the beautiful girl were chasing after each other. No one dared to intervene because the powerful aura exuded by the beautiful girl had indicated that the beautiful girl was a fusion martial artist. Fusion martial artist. In this Thunder Forest battle, there were more than 400 participants, and there were a total of 30 fusion martial artists. This meant that among the 400 post-celestial martial artists, fusion martial artists were the strongest. Because of this, no one was willing to provoke a fusion martial artist. Outside a secluded valley in the Thunder Forest, being chased by the beautiful girl, Longao didn't even look at his surroundings. He ran all the way here. When he saw the huge valley, he didn't even think twice before darting in. "Stupid hooligan, no matter where you run to, I'll kill you!" With a furious roar, the beautiful girl followed him into the valley with a murderous aura. In the blink of an eye, the two of them disappeared from the valley. In the valley, black fog lingered, and there was even an oddly pungent smell. The moment Longao stepped into the valley, his face darkened. He could feel that something was wrong in the valley. However, with someone chasing after him, he couldn't leave the valley at all. Buh-ho-ho, buh-ho-ho, buh-ho-ho. From the depths of the valley came a series of ghostly wails. The moment he heard it, Longao channeled the energy within his body to resist against the ghostly wails. This unpleasant sound was similar to the soul-suppressing seal, able to corrode one's soul. Shocked, Longao couldn't care less about anything else and resisted with all his might. The beautiful girl arrived in the blink of an eye. When she saw the stinking hooligan in her heart, she roared and stabbed her sharp sword towards him. It was obvious that the beautiful girl really wanted to kill him. She didn't show any mercy. The sharp sword shot out terrifying sword chi, one after another, arriving in an instant. With a backhand palm, Longao didn't dare to use his body to block the sword chis. Even though he tried to dodge, he was still injured by the sword chis. But at this moment, Longao couldn't care less. The power of the sound was way too strong. If he wasn't careful, he would be corroded by the sound, and the consequences would be unimaginable. The beautiful young lady, who was just about to continue attacking, also noticed that something was wrong before she could do anything. The sound invaded her body and corroded her soul. Perhaps it was due to her anger that the beautiful young lady, who should have been able to resist it, was overwhelmed by her anger. Coupled with the eerie sound corroding her soul, she fainted. Looking at the beautiful girl fainting, Longao really wanted to ignore her. But at the end of the day, Longao was still a man. This wasn't to say that Longao was lustful. It was just that he couldn't bear to see a girl die in front of him. With no other choice, Longao darted over with the beautiful girl. Not only did he have to resist the corrosion of the sound, he also had to help the beautiful girl resist the corrosion of the figure. Longao didn't stay where he was. He brought the beautiful girl and ran out of the valley. Plop! At this time, Longao and the beautiful girl fell into a black pit together. In an instant, the two of them disappeared without a trace. The valley was still shrouded in black fog, and it was still wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. Chapter 96. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Inside the huge cave, water droplets continuously dripped down from the ceiling. The entire cave was supported by 8 stone pillars, and the surrounding walls were engraved with some diagrams, one after another. Yes! Groaning in pain, Aoshua struggled to lift her eyelids. She opened her eyes and struggled to get up from the ground. She shook her head and tried to clear her head. You're awake? Damn hooligan, I'm going to kill you! Aoshua, who was just about to attack, suddenly let out a painful roar. She sat down on the ground again, her face full of pain. I advise you to save your strength. Longao had already woken up, but he had suffered a heavy fall, so he could only recover from his injuries first. After a few hours of rest, he was more or less able to move. Longao stood up and stretched his body. Then, he walked towards the eastern stone wall. He wanted to see what kind of patterns were carved on the surrounding stone walls. Damn pervert, what did you do to me? At this moment, Aoshua screamed in horror. Could it be? Aoshua didn't dare to think further. Pain and despair were written all over her face. She believed that no matter which woman it was, she would not be able to face such a thing. Longao, who had already walked out, sighed deeply. He turned around and said apologetically, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I can only tell you that I had no choice. Damn hooligan, you actually took advantage of the fact that I was unconscious too. I didn't. Both our souls have been corroded by the mysterious voice. I believe you should know what happened. I hope you won't be unreasonable. I'm unreasonable? Ushua closed his eyes. The anger and murderous intent on his face were like an erupting volcano. Letting out another deep sigh, Longao did not know what to do. It turned out that their souls had been corroded by the mysterious voice, and after falling into the cave, they had a muddle-headed relationship. When Longao woke up, he found that both of them were not wearing any clothes, and he understood what had happened. It was precisely because of this that Longao endured the waves of pain coming from his body. Longao shook his head helplessly. Even now, he still felt somewhat depressed. Why did he get himself into such big trouble for no reason? Without continuing to dwell on this issue, Longao came before the stone wall and observed the patterns carved on it. Inside the cave, there were a total of 12 patterns carved on the walls in the 4 directions of north, south, east, and west. The patterns carved on the walls could not be understood at all. However, Longao had a feeling that if he stared at the patterns for a long time, the patterns would emit a power that would invade his soul. Shocked, he didn't dare to continue looking at the 12 diagrams. However, at this moment, Longao dodged to the side, brushing past the ice-cold sword chi. Longao didn't even need to turn around to know what had happened. Perhaps it was because he felt guilty, but Longao didn't dodge the next attack and was hit by Aoshua's palm. With a muffled groan, Longao's body flew backwards and crashed into the wall with a loud bang. Aoshua seemed to be in a daze because it had never expected that the other party wouldn't dodge. However, when it thought of its body being invaded by the other party, Aoshua had the urge to kill the other party. I saved your life before, and now I've suffered a palm strike from you. The two of us are even. If you dare to attack again, I won't be polite. Humph, with just you. Aoshua's face was filled with disdain and contempt because to Aoshua, evolving into a martial artist wasn't a big deal. After all, for martial artists, the difference in realms couldn't be made up with other things. Longao stood up with difficulty. His body was already in pain, and now that he had suffered another palm strike, he felt as if his entire body was about to fall apart. The pain was so excruciating that it was as if a dozen people were using sharp knives to continuously slash his body. You stinking pervert, how dare you defile my body? If I don't kill you today, I'm not human. Wait, you have to be clear about something. You. Aoshua seemed to be very angry, her body trembling as she scolded. Are you a man or not? You dare to do it, but you don't dare to admit it. You can only be a stinking pervert, I really despise you. Dare to do it, but don't dare to admit it. Stinking pervert? Today, I'll show you what a real stinking pervert is. Being always scolded as a stinking rogue by the other party, Longao was also a little angry. He shot out from the left side. Before he arrived, the soul-suppressing seal had already arrived. Ao Shui, who was originally incomparably angry, didn't even have time to react before he was already invaded by a mysterious force and began to corrode his soul. Shocked, Aoshua didn't dare to be careless. She immediately channeled all the energy in her body to resist the force that was corroding her soul. But at this moment, Longao had already arrived beside Aoshua. Without waiting for Aoshua to react, he carried Aoshua over. The reason why Longao was able to succeed so easily was because Aoshua was heavily injured and angry. Otherwise, the soul-suppressing seal alone wouldn't be able to control Aoshua. Whoa. Longao didn't care about Aoshua's cries at all. In Longao's heart, he was only cursing in his heart. King called me a stinking pervert again. Big brother was kind enough to save you, and you called me a stinking pervert. Just like that, Longao beat Aoshua for 3 minutes until he was out of breath. Then, he finally stopped. Stinking pervert, stinking pervert. You still dare to call me a stinking pervert, I'll let you. Once again, Longao beat Aoshua fiercely. This time, he beat Aoshua fiercely for a full 10 minutes, almost suffocating it. Stinking pervert, stinking pervert. Every time Aoshua scolded, Longao beat Aoshua for a few minutes, then Longao scolded again, then beat Aoshua for a few more minutes. Just like that, after a few times, Aoshua finally became completely obedient, but her vicious eyes were still staring at Longao. Letting go of Aoshua, Longao said unhappily, "Let me tell you, don't think that I'm easy to bully. You and I didn't want to do anything between us, but I'm a fair person, and I'll take responsibility for you." Chapter 97. Responsibility. Longao wasn't a playboy, and he was absolutely loyal to Yuying. But there was always a chance. Whether he was willing or not, he had taken her body. Since that was the case, he had to be responsible for her. Responsibility? You want to be responsible for me? You don't have to look down on me. I know your identity isn't simple, but I'll ask you one last time. Do you need me to be responsible? Longao wasn't a fool. The other party had broken through to the peak of the fusion realm at such a young age. Her identity and background were definitely not simple. Moreover, the other party's arrogance was obviously not simple. No, you don't need to be responsible for my death. Stinky. Just as Aoshua cursed, Longao glared at her. After being beaten for dozens of minutes, Aoshua was afraid that the other party would continue to beat her. Woo-woo, you bully me. Woo-woo, woo-woo. Looking at the crying girl, Longao didn't know what to do for a moment. He would rather fight with an expert than see a girl cry, especially a girl he was about to be responsible for. Longao had decided that no matter who was right or wrong, he would be responsible. As a man, he should dare to do and be responsible. Longao didn't know how to coax the girl. He gently sat beside her and looked at her quietly. After crying for a long time, Aoshua finally stopped. Half of her anger had disappeared. She suddenly asked, "Stinky brat, what's your name?" The stinky hooligan had become a stinky brat. Longao smiled helplessly and didn't continue to bicker with the girl. He said, "My name is Longao. I'm from the Long family of Scarlet Fire Town." If it was the old Longao, he would definitely add the word Star Cloud Kingdom in front of the Scarlet Fire Town. However, ever since he left the National Guard Hall, Longao only said the Scarlet Fire Town's Long Clan, not Star Cloud Kingdom's Scarlet Fire Town's Long Clan. "You're from the Long family?" Aoshua seemed to be surprised. After all, the Long family had a powerful status in the Tianwu continent. However, the Long family had many branches, and there were 9 levels. So not all the branches of the Long family were powerful. "If you want, you can tell me your name and identity. I'll say it again, I won't deny what I've done to you. I'll be responsible for you, whether you want it or not." "Humph, who needs you to be responsible for me?" Aoshua's voice was very cold, but unlike before, she glared and said, "My name is Aoshua. Longao, let me tell you, today's matter, I will definitely not let it go, just you wait." Since the other party was unwilling to mention his identity, Longao did not continue to ask. "I'll wait." "Humph, where are we now?" Shrugging his shoulders, Longao also said helplessly, "I don't know. I just searched once. The entire cave is a dead end. There are no exits. However, there are 12 pictures carved on the 4 walls." "Pattern?" Aoshua seemed to be very curious. Resisting the pain in her body, Aoshua stood up and walked towards the wall in front of her. After taking a look, Aoshua's expression changed. She shouted in surprise, "I finally found it! I finally found it! Thank you, old ancestor! Thank you, old ancestor!" Looking at the crazy Aoshua, Longao was very curious. He asked, "Aoshua, what happened to you?" "Longao, I entered the Thunder Forest mainly to find these 12 patterns. After so many years, the sect couldn't find them. I didn't expect that I would find them. This is great. My Ghost King sect can finally rise. Ghost King sect? Hearing the Ghost King sect mentioned by Aoshue, Longao was shocked. He was certainly familiar with the Ghost King sect mentioned by Aoshue. The Ghost King sect was a super sect above the Thunder Empire. The Flowing Cloud sect was nothing in front of the Ghost King sect. It could be said that even the Thunder Empire didn't dare to provoke the Ghost King sect. This was the strength and foundation of the Ghost King sect. Aoshue, are you a disciple of the Ghost King sect? Aoshue seemed to have realized that she had said something wrong. She snorted and said, "Whether I am a disciple of the Ghost King sect or not, what does it have to do with you? Longao, let me tell you, you and I are irreconcilable." Somewhat helpless, Longao finally knew why Aoshue was so strong and proud. She turned out to be a disciple of the Ghost King sect. What's more, Longao could guess that Aoshue's status and identity in the Ghost King sect was definitely not simple. Otherwise, how could Aoshue reach the peak of the fusion realm at such a young age? Longao knew very well that a warrior's talent was far from enough. The full cultivation of the family or the sect was also incomparably important. Because of this, Longao was very sure that Aoshue's identity in the Ghost King sect was definitely not simple. Aoshue, these 12 patterns belong to the Ghost King sect? Of course, these 12 patterns are a profound cultivation method and martial skill. It is the unique skill of the ancestor of the Ghost King sect. But for so many years, the ancestor's skill has been missing. No matter how hard we search, we can't find it. The ancestor of the Ghost King sect? Although Aoshue did not say it clearly, Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew how amazing the ancestor who could create the Ghost King sect was. In that case, the unique skill carved on the patterns must be extraordinary. Longao had just looked at the patterns carved on the stone wall and found that he could not understand them at all. After looking at them for a long time, he felt a sense of shock in his heart. Longao, have you just seen the patterns on the stone wall? Longao did not hide anything. He nodded and admitted, "Yes, before you woke up, I did see the patterns carved on the stone wall, but I could not understand them. Not only that, I felt that my soul would be eroded by the power of the patterns." That's right. That's right? Longao was very depressed, but he did not say anything. After all, the 12 patterns in front of him must be extraordinary. Longao, are you very curious about the origin of these 12 patterns? Longao also did not hide anything and said, "Yes, I am very curious. If you are willing to tell me, I will be happy to listen. If not, it's okay." In any case, since the 12 patterns were the treasures of the Ghost King sect, even if he was very curious, if Aoshue did not want to tell him, he would not ask more. The old ancestor of my Ghost King sect was an extremely talented individual. Back then, he relied on his own 2 hands to establish the foundation of the Ghost King sect. The 12 pictures you see are actually one picture. However, it was broken by the old ancestor back then because he was worried that this picture would fall into the hands of others. This picture is called the Endless Blood Sea. Chapter 98. Endless Blood Sea? What a domineering name. The 12 patterns were equivalent to one pattern, which could also be considered as a weapon. Aoshue, the patterns are engraved on the stone walls. Do you want to take away the surrounding walls? With regards to this point, Longao was very curious because the surrounding stone walls of the cave were connected to the entire cave. Wanting to take away the 12 pictures was simply an impossible thing. Seeming somewhat disappointed, Aoshue said, "According to the sect's legends, the old ancestor had already merged the Endless Blood Sea diagram back then. Furthermore, it was hidden very deeply. If I am not wrong, the true Endless Blood Sea diagram is hidden in one of the 12 diagrams." Even Aoshue didn't know why she had to tell him these things. After thinking for a while, Longao asked, "Do you need my help?" Waving his hand, Aoshue's expression suddenly became serious. He said helplessly, Only one of the 12 patterns contains the real endless blood sea map. So we must hit it with one blow. If we fail, all 12 patterns will disappear and our lives will be in danger. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he could hear the seriousness in Aoshua's words. Aoshua, do you have a way to identify which of the 12 patterns contains the real endless blood sea map? Bloodline. Bloodline? After thinking for a while, Longao had already guessed Aoshua's method. Because of this, Longao was even more curious about Aoshua's identity. He did not know what Aoshua's identity was in the Ghost King sect. After taking a deep look at Longao, Aoshua suddenly sat on the ground, looked at the seat beside him, and said, "Do you want to hear about the endless blood sea map?" Longao nodded. Of course, he wanted to know. He came to Aoshua's side and sat down about 2 meters away. The endless blood sea map is the most precious treasure of the Ghost King sect. It was obtained by the Great Ancestor by accident. The Great Ancestor spent a lot of effort, and finally came up with a way to create a bloodline divine artifact. Only the direct bloodline of the Great Ancestor can open the endless blood sea map. Aoshua, do you mean that you possess the bloodline of the Ghost King sect's ancestor? Since things had come to this point, Aoshua did not continue to hide it. She nodded and said, "I do have the blood of the Great Ancestor in my body, but whether I can succeed is still unknown. After all, since the fall of the Great Ancestor, the endless blood sea map has disappeared, and no one has gotten the endless blood sea map." There was no need to ask. Longao already knew that Aoshua's status and identity in the Ghost King sect was definitely not simple. Since that's the case, why don't you give it a try and see the result? Nodding, Aoshua was also a little excited because she had finally found the most precious treasure of the Ghost King sect that had disappeared for so many years. If she gave it up, she would not even have the chance to regret it. Aoshua stood up and came to the first pattern. She released her bloodline and tried to communicate with the pattern in front of her. She shook her head. There was no aura. Aoshua knew that there was no real endless blood sea map in this pattern. In this way, Aoshua began to sense the patterns one by one. Until the 12th pattern was completely sensed, she still did not sense the aura of the real endless blood sea map. Could it be that there was no endless blood sea map in the 12 patterns? Aoshua, what's wrong? It's none of your business. Aoshua glared fiercely and sat on the ground gloomily. Her face was full of anger. Longao was a little stunned. He did not know what was wrong with Aoshua. He sighed deeply in his heart. Sigh, women, this is what women are like. A woman's heart is really like a needle at the bottom of the sea. You have no idea what a woman is thinking. Longao did not ask for a rebuff. He looked at the 12 patterns again, one after another. He studied them carefully, but still did not find anything. Even Aoshua's bloodline could not sense the real endless blood sea map. Longao knew that it would not be as easy to find the real endless blood sea map among the 12 patterns. Eh? Surprised, Longao's eyes suddenly fixed on the corner in front of him. There was a round turntable there. It was black and white, like the 8 trigrams. What are you shouting for? Can't you see that I'm thinking about something? Before Aoshua finished speaking, she had already discovered that in the direction Longao was looking at, she had also seen the circular turntable, especially the black and white 8 trigrams. What is this thing? Aoshua was very curious. However, Aoshua was not stupid. Of course, she knew that the round turntable was not ordinary. Just as Aoshua was about to attack, she was pulled back by Longao. Brat, you're taking advantage of me again. Longao could be said to be extremely speechless towards Aoshua. He loosened his hand and said seriously, Aoshua, this is no small matter. If I did not guess wrongly, this circular spinning wheel should not be simple. It is best that you do not touch it. He took a deep look at the young man, and then at the roulette wheel. In the end, he came to a stop. Pouting her small mouth, Aoshua seemed to be very unhappy and said, I'm not listening to you. I also feel that something is wrong here. He smiled helplessly. At this moment, Longao's expression changed. He picked up Aoshue and ignored Aoshue's shocked and angry eyes. The two of them quickly left. Just as he left, a cold light was already shot out from the round turntable, brushing past his shoulder. The cold light shot onto the ground, creating a huge pit. Seeing this situation, no matter if it was Longao or Aoshue, their faces changed greatly. Longao, it's coming again. There was no need for Aoshue to remind him. Longao carried Aoshue and ran all the way. However, the speed of the cold light emitted from the circular roulette was simply too fast. It almost chased after the two of them. Every time, they brushed past each other. There were even a few times when the two of them were almost killed by the cold light. Longao was not stupid. Of course, he knew that if this continued, the two of them would be killed sooner or later. Therefore, he had to think of a way to get rid of the round turntable as soon as possible. Longao, what should we do now? Women were women. In an emergency situation, they still had to rely on men. At this moment, Longao could be said to be extremely depressed because there was no exit in the entire cave. He could only be chased by the cold light. It was unknown if it was because he was too anxious, but in his anxiety, Longao quickly shot towards the 6th pattern among the 12 patterns. Longao, are you crazy? Aoshue was shocked when she saw Longao running towards the stone wall. However, the situation was out of her control. Although Longao's realm was lower than hers, he was not weak at all. For some reason, Aoshue had a feeling that with her strength, she might not be able to defeat Longao. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.